What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Tape, and today is a very special one. We have our first guest here joining BTT for a collab mock drafts series, and I mean, this guy needs no introduction. If you've been following college football, the NFL draft, fantasy football, this man needs no introduction. I welcome to the show the great. You can follow him at Twitter at RayGQ. Ray, welcome to the show. This is the founder of Destiny Devi, college football, NFL draft content for both Yahoo Sports, but also Bleacher Report. Ray, you're one of the sharpest doing it. And I just tell my fiance this while I was listening to your show this morning. You are effortlessly cool. I don't know how you do it. Everything you say, the way you act, everything is just so chill, but you get to the point. You have great analysis. So you just got a great delivery, great blend, and you make talking football even more fun than it is. So welcome to the show, my man. I'm excited to get through a 2-round mock draft with you.
Well, I'm equally as excited because you have been crushing the mocks in the space. I think you really started going live last year. I think I remember seeing you go live a lot last year, doing a lot of mocks on X, killing the game, adding creators to your very successful enterprise that you have right now. So for you to bring me on to talk ball, to do a mock on a Monday, come on, baby. Let's go, man. Let's go, TJ.
Not just getting you on, you're batting leadoff, because we're making sure you're getting the most ABs in the game. So here we go. Let's jump right into it, Ray. Let's have some fun. Let's do this 2-round mock draft. Also, changing up the setup. Fans here for 32, let me know what you think. I kind of feel like I like us on the side a little bit more. But that being said, Ray is going to take the odds. So, Ray, I know this is a real tough one. I know this is going to really work you here. But what do you want to do here with number 1 overall?
You know, I am from Las Vegas. That's my hometown. So, you know, I'm looking at Reese. I like it's Fernando Mendoza. Make the pick. It's Mendoza. We know it. I always say this anytime I pick number 1. I don't mean to be dismissive of the Raiders or their pick. It's a great pick. It's a great fit. We've talked about it so much that people know it's going to happen. I think the Raiders conversation really starts round 2 and how drafting Mendoza impacts what they do. But the first pick is going to be Fernando.
And that's part of why, it's, we got to do one mock with the idea of them drafting 14. That was such a fun idea because could it be Mekhi Lemon as a JSN type for Clint Kubiak? Could it be offensive line reinforcements for your rookie quarterback you're taking 1 overall? And all of a sudden, poof, just as quick as we had the excitement about it is gone. So, yeah, definitely going to be interesting how they stack up. Yeah, round 2, round 3, how do they build around Mendoza? But, yeah, Fernando, for a team that has been desperate for quarterback play, it's going to be the quarterback at 1. And then, kind of likewise here, I'm going to go with the chalk train here, Arvell Reese. In a lot of ways, I understand, Ruben Bain would be sick on that defense, too, especially as they move to a 3-4. But kind of on that note, and as much as I think the 3-4-4-3 can be a little overrated, at the end of the day, nickel's the new base in this, new age NFL. But that being said, the 3-4 base, the idea of this hybrid off-ball linebacker who could also be the next Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter, Jalen Walker type off the edge, I think that gives you the flexibility to kind of move him around, and especially as he's developing a pass rush plan, ease him into that role. And you also got some guys who can kind of get the job done right now. And actually, speaking of that, this is also the first mock we've done post-free agency. So, man, Ray, I'm also excited for your takes on everything these teams have done in free agency. The Jets, one of the more active teams in that component. So I'm pulling up our lads too, just to make sure I'm not missing anything as we go through these picks, just in case there's a free agent signing I overlook here. But, I think the Jets have kind of paved the way for them to go getting an edge rush presence that we think Arvell Reese could be, that blue chip type of potential there. So to me, it kind of clears the way. This is becoming chalk, and I'm going to ride that wave. Yeah,
that's the pick. That's the play. That's the play. It's chalk. I think the bigger thing is, could the Jets move back? Right. Yeah. And I guess we'll know that a little bit later. But if they're there, I do think Reese is probably the play.
And if they're trading back, I wonder who that team is, who's moving up and for who. For Reese, I wonder who it would be. I don't know, maybe Tennessee, just a couple picks, difference there. I just wonder. But yeah, it feels like one of those years where you'd love to trade back, but it takes 2 to tango. And I don't know if you're going to have that other team, that other side vying to move up. Maybe for one of the receivers, though. Maybe I could be wrong. But either way, really, I wanted you to pick odds because here we go. Here's the draft. It starts at 3. What do you want to do here with the cards?
Yeah, so the typical pick is Francis Mauigoa or an offensive lineman. It's not going to be running back now. They brought in Tyler Algier. They restructured or reworked James Conner. So I'd done a couple with Jeremiyah Love to Arizona. It was fun, but I don't think that's a realistic option right now. I'm at 2 positions, D-line or we're going offensive line. Are we pairing up one of these young offensive linemen next to Paris Johnson? Are we going to the defensive side? I know they drafted Walter Nolan, who was injured last year. Are we trying to rebuild that front, knowing that the NFC West is very difficult? The chalk pick is Francis Mauigoa out of Miami. but I'm actually going to go with Reuben Bain right here for Arizona. I'm
Let's
going
go.
Reuben Bain. I know a lot of people are scared, a little concerned about the arm length, and then he puts out that video running drills against the pads, and you see that 45-degree bend around the edge. This is a culture-setting player, and you've got LaFleur in the building now. This isn't a team that's ready to go right now. Right. Let's build our trenches. Either way, you could go, O-line, D-line. But right here, I'm not as concerned about the arm length for Reuben Bain as others. The production, the physicality, how good he is against the run and the pass. I do think that you get somebody like this, a culture setter, him, Walter Nolan, some of the defensive players that they added over the past couple of years, D lineman last year, big-time free agent. I like Reuben Bain in Arizona.
Yeah, and dude, part of the reason I like that pick, if we take a quick look at what offensive tackles are probably there, the top of round 2, and they might be in the Ty Simpson market, so I don't want to rule that out, but there's a high likelihood, at pick 34 or whatever that second-round pick is, Blake Miller, Maxi Iheanacho, I think there might be some options for a right tackle a little bit later on, too. So, frankly, going to get one of the best players in the class at Bain and then stacking that right tackle later, kind of ideal for me personally. So, I'm with you there. And plus, this is a team that's been looking for pass rush juice. And, dude, I don't know if you saw the video this past week of Miami putting out Reuben Bain doing some of these drills and whatnot, and like just the sheer bend. Someone even at 265 pounds, let's say he's not even 275. The sheer bend at 6'3", 265 is ridiculous. So go get you a difference maker. This guy plays with so much power. I'm not really worried about the arm length. I'm right there with you. And then, dude, here at 4, the Titans, man, the buzz is Jeremiyah Love. And as much as I'd love to give this team Carnell Tate, bona fide ball winner, let's get a Humanor kind of playing some Z. Also, they brought in Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency, a slot type. So I'd love for them to go get that big body type. But, man, it feels like the wave right now is on Jeremiyah Love. So that's where I'm going to go here. And I will say, his pass catching ability, Notre Dame expanded that role this last year. And then also just helping a second-year quarterback, new play caller coming in, and Brian Daboll. This feels like another one of those moves to just kind of raise the floor of what's around Cam Ward. Let's try to give you a stable situation. So both this elevates the run game, but also what he is as a pass catcher. I think it does make some sense. And that's one hell of a backfield for the next 10 to 12 years, hopefully there in Nashville. So I'm going to go with Jeremiyah Love. Feels like that's where the momentum's kind of taking him right now.
I agree with you. And the moves that they made throughout free agency, I think signing Wan'Dale probably eliminates them from taking a receiver here at 4. Maybe not later, but here at 4 with Wan'Dale Robinson coming in as well. So I think that's the pick. All signals point to Jeremiyah Love. At 5, Giants brought back Jermaine Illuminor, their right tackle, which was a huge sort of re-signing to get him back in the building. They've got one of the best left tackles when healthy, and Andrew Thomas on the left side. I think this could be a spot where they definitely go guard. You got Mal Noah's on the board. Normally he's off at 3, help protect Jackson Dart. But I think the defensive side of the ball, with projections that they probably will lose Kayvon Thibodeau, the linebacker spot, Sonny Styles, I would love for him to fall to my Cowboys at 12, but I don't think it's happening. He's going to go to the Giants right here. Sonny Styles, 5 to New York.
Dude, and I get the Tremaine Edmonds signing, but like Edmonds has not been who he was at that last year in Buffalo, and maybe even who Chicago thought he might be. And really, I think, Sam Monson said this the other day on Check the Mic, which I thought was hilarious, but there might be stuff that Sonny Styles can teach Tremaine Edmonds, which is how sound of a football player he is. But also 3-4 base, those two athletic monsters right in the middle of it, sign me up for that. And that's a tone-setting, culture-setting type of move there for the defensive side of the ball for the Giants. And frankly, he's too good to get past 5. Like, to me, he's the best non-quarterback in this class. So I'm with you. I like it there at 5. And now I want to ask you a question here, Ray. Since you got the odds, what are your thoughts on the Browns trading back here with the Rams coming up to 6? And ideally, I'm trying to sell you on a pick here since you got the odds. Rams coming up and taking Carnell Tate to be the Devontae Adams successor. What do we think? 13-61 for 6. The Browns move back. The guy that I would probably give them here at 6, I'm thinking is going to be there at 13. Impossible to know necessarily, but I have a feeling that offensive tackle is still going to be there. And then you get an extra second-round pick. So I'll let you.
The Rams are absolutely in go-get-it mode right now. And the Browns moving back. Last year, people thought they were crazy. You traded away the rights to Travis Hunter, and you got Mason Graham, and now you're looking at the end of the year like, man, I'm glad we got Mason Graham. Man, I'm glad we got those extra picks. Let's do it. If I will entertain, let's stick with the Rams going all in. They've addressed so many defensive needs, especially in their secondary. You got it, baby.
Boom. And again, another top 100 pick for the Browns, like first-year head coach, second year of Shadur Sanders. We'll see if he can prove himself to be the franchise guy. As many swings to the bat you could possibly get, man. Like, go get it. And then for the Rams' perspective, you have a trio, as you said, they're going all in right now. All the chips are in the center of the table, and a receiver trio of Puka, DA, and Carnell Tate. Sign me up for that. I think that only furthers that mission statement. And then whether it's one more year of DA, 2 more years of DA, I think he's a great guy to teach Carnell Tate. And then like long-term, big body X boundary receiver that frees you up to use Nakua in the Z, the slot, wherever you really feel best. Those tight set formations. Yeah, I love it there. So and I'm with you. Rams, let's just, if you're going to go all in, let's further cement that. So I feel like it works for both sides. And once we get to 13, I have a feeling that same guy I would have given the Browns there at 6 is going to be there at 13. So I think it works out for both sides. So then we got the Commanders here at 7. What do you want to do here? This is kind of a fun spot. It's another team that like they did a lot in free agency to kind of make it to where it's like, okay, Carnell Tate, that's not off the board. Jeremiyah Love, if he's there, that's not off the board.
See,
so
you kind of messed me up, right?
Yeah,
you kind of messed me up. I'm gonna be honest with you, because Carnell Tate was gonna be the pick. They can get out of Terry McLaurin's contract next year. Like he's gonna play this season, but after this season, I think there's a chance that he is gone. Right? You've got JD5. He's probably gonna be on a new deal. You're gonna have to pay him.
100%.
I look at what they did through free agency. They paid Odafe Owe $100 million. They signed Charles Omenihu at defensive end, Tim Settle at D tackle, Kaylavon Chason at D end. It will not be David Bailey right here. I'm going blast from the past. And the last time they did it, right? I know they took Landry at one point. Landry at safety. Jerron Landry wasn't that great. Caleb Downs. Like, let's get a culture-setting safety for this secondary. I could have gone David Bailey. You can always upgrade O-line. A little too early for Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon, in my opinion. Okay. Caleb Downs is on the board. Caleb Downs is the pick for the Commanders at 7.
See, I was interested. I'm a big Mekhi Lemon guy, and I would have thought about it there, but I'm with you. I think Tate's more ideal because at this point in Terry's career, one, yeah, you're right. You could get rid of that contract after this upcoming season. But secondly, I think at this point, I'd like him to be off the X. Let's try to get him away from the line of scrimmage, get him away from press. And Tate, kind of gives you a Noah Brown type, but better. That lets that be possible. I still don't rule out Mekhi Lemon there. That would be a fun guy just to like force feed. You got David Blow coming from, he's had coffee with Ben Johnson and KOC, so he's the next hot offensive coordinator mind, so could he be that Amon-Ra type? Could he be that, from the slot, or Justin Jefferson sometimes doing that role for Minnesota? So I thought about it, but I'm also a big Mekhi Lemon guy. But that being said, dude, like Nick Cross plus Caleb Downs, that safety overhaul plus like they still need some corners, but like that safety tandem will clean up a lot of the mistakes I think those corners might still face going into next year. So you can, and dude, he's one of the best football players in this class. You get him at 7, no objections for me, not at all. Now the Saints here at 8. Now this is where it gets tough. Would have been a great Jeremiyah Love landing spot, even though we got Travis Echan. We got him there. We got him there in the backfield. I got to get used to that. Yeah, a chant. I got to get used to that, especially now that he's back in the Bayou. Like I'm here for it. But that being said, man, what do I want to do here? They also signed David Edwards because I have been thinking about like, dude, if they just want to keep on the O-line, Spencer Fano next to the 2 tackles, one of the 2 tackles they've drafted the last 2 years, that's Kellen Moore run game through and through. But could this team also use a Chase Young? Still got Granderson. Now I'm kind of spinning. They could still use a receiver. My hesitation with Tyson here is just he's missed, somewhere depending on where you look. Like I think it's 17 of his 51 potential games played, so a little more than a third of his college career. And you already have Chris Olave with the blood clots, the concussion.
Your boy Lemon's still there. Your boy Mekhi's there.
I do love Mekhi, and again, I like Olave a lot, but in a perfect world, he's not my X. Like he's my Z. In a perfect world, but I do love Mekhi Lemon. I do. Let me go double check the D-line options. Because I would go with, if Chase Young didn't have the year he had last year, this is David Bailey pretty comfortably for me.
Okay.
And we got Sonny Styles off the board, right? Yeah, we got
Styles is off the board.
Hold on, let me double check this team's secondary.
Yeah. That I'm looking to. Well, I'm not gonna. They lost Alontae Taylor, so he went to Tennessee.
Isaac Yiadom and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Could this team just keep Mansour Delane in the Bayou? LSU.
I did a mock last week, and I took him at 8. The Saints fans hated me, but I took Delane right here last week. I was like, they need a cornerback. They need a corner, but also the board didn't fall like this in the mock that I had. So
you know what? I think I'm with you. I think you're onto something there. I'm going to go Delane, get a pure shutdown outside corner, CB1, and then they pick at 42. That's when we'll go get that boundary X receiver. Because I think if it's Chris Bransel, Ted Hurst, whoever that guy might be at 42, that's your X field stretching type. You got Olave. And then Devon Bailey, I think, is a power slot, is a decent football player. And Juwan Johnson could do some stuff. So I'm going to go Delane. I'm kind of surprised they hated that pick. A hometown kid like that? That's interesting. But that being said, he would have been a great pick here for the Chiefs. So
he would have been a great pick for KC. He would have been a great pick for KC. But I do think that if the Chiefs get put in this spot, I think they're going to be fine as well, right? David Bailey would be the pick. The D-line, edge rusher, I think they would run to the draft board. You put him next to Chris Jones. You put him on that defensive line. They lost Charles Omenihu. I talked about him going to the Commanders. I think David Bailey would flow right into that ecosystem and be just fine in Kansas City with Spags. I think I love, and I don't know how many times I've seen Bailey to the Chiefs in a mock. I like this.
Yeah, most of the time he doesn't make it here. And what I will say is, Spags has made his money with like third round to day 3 corners. So like as much as like Delane would be in theory awesome there at 8, like that, or sorry, at 9. That's not really where Spags has put like the resources in that defense. And if you took Felix Anudike-Uzomah at 32, I don't see any reservation really in taking David Bailey here at 9. So, and also the one thing I keep saying, and you're right, I haven't seen this in total, a lot of mocks. I think I've done it once. Like this would be like Dwight Freeney on the Colts. Like this would be like you're up 10 points in the fourth quarter. This guy's going to bury the other team real quick. Go do your thing, David Bailey. Yep. So I like that a ton. Then we get to the Bengals, dude. This is a weird team now. I feel like Jermon McCoy or Dylan Thieneman definitely makes some sense. McCoy's a little risky because of just the injury of it all. I think his tape's fantastic. But also, I feel like, dude, Dax Hill, DJ Turner, those are good football players when they're out there. So I don't know if I have to go that direction here.
It's tough when it falls this way because normally you're looking at a Downs is available, a Delane, like it's a Bain is available. They're not here, right? And here's the thing, TJ, you do a lot of these and I do them too. Instead of getting upset, right, that your team didn't pick the guy that you want, what I always say is I like to exhaust every angle because the draft isn't an exact science and you wake up on draft day like, holy crap, didn't think that was going to happen. That's why these exercises are so important.
Yeah, I'm with you through and through. I'm a team building geek, dude. And we were doing this series on the channel using the Stick to the Model off-season franchise simulator, and that lets you do free agency, franchise tag calls, trades, all that stuff. I'm a geek, and I could do 1,000 of those in a day without getting bored. So I'm with you. And a lot of people also want to say, oh, mock drafts before free agency, they don't count. But it's like, come on, man. We're talking fits. We're talking where could this guy go on the board? I'm with you. The more the merrier for me. But, dude, this is interesting. And also, I would think about Thieneman here, but they just signed Brian Cook from Kansas City. So, honestly, I think they're good there, too. So, I'm kind of looking at the defensive side of the ball. In some ways, Akeem Mesidor, just to get this guy some instant pass rush juice. I'm a big Shamar Stewart guy, though. Man, the options are tough here, to be completely honest. And also, like, a team that I felt like understood their weaknesses. Where do we have to get better on this football team? Boye Mafe, he raises the floor of that defense. Brian Cook raises the floor of that defense. I think Jonathan Allen's probably washed at this point, but in theory, could raise the floor of that defense. So this is tough in a lot of ways. Like linebacker still sticks out like a sore thumb, but I'm not doing CJ Allen here at 10. Maybe
this is scroll back up to the top. Let me just see who's at the top of the
dude. I almost wonder, do I put my tinfoil hat on? Do we go CeCe Moinoa, play him at guard, move Dalton Risner over to left guard, Dylan Fairchild plays center? I don't know. I feel like at this point we're reach, or do we just go Spencer Fano and get this team a badass interior offensive lineman and just call that a day? Or do we go crazy? 3 receivers wide, Mekhi Lemon, congratulations. You're going to be playing slot on the greatest receiver trio of all time. I think
this would be probably worst case scenario for Bengals fans based on what we've seen.
Yeah.
In mocks and drafts fall out.
Oh, 100%.
I think they'd be like, man, this was rough for us right here.
Want to trade back? Hold on. Okay, well, Moinoa is here. Who would be in the market to move up for CeCe Moinoa? I feel like him or Fano would be the two guys somebody might move up for. Maybe Kenyon Sadiq, maybe Mekhi, but you know what? I don't hate the Fano. The more I think about it, Fano or Moinoa, solidifying your investment on that O-line. Dalton Risner, it's a 1-year deal. He's also played multiple spots in his career. Ted Karras getting up there at age. You know what? Oh, man, I feel like Bengals fans are going to absolutely hate me. I'm going to go Spencer Fano. And you know what? I'm going to play him at center. At this point, I think that might be the best case scenario for him, just to be like a Frank Ragnow type. Like, if we're talking an elite player, what position probably gets Fano there? It's probably at center or guard. So here, like, just a true difference maker for that offensive line. I've also said, like, I think Sunner's a little underrated when it comes to the value it brings for a unit. And I always go back to the Travis Frederick example. Ray, you're based in Dallas, right? I'm not making that up.
That's right.
And like the Travis Frederick effect where, he's healthy and then he has that crazy, one-off injury year where it's like, will he ever play again? And the Cowboys go from like easily the best O-line in football to like still pretty good. But then he comes back from injury and it's like, no question, the Dallas Cowboys have the offensive line you want in the league. And I wonder if Fano could have that type of an impact and just be the glue that keeps that O-line, interior offensive line, all the better. I'm also a Chase Brown dynasty owner in 2 different leagues, so maybe my bias is shining through here. Please let my boy Chase Brown loose here. So Spencer Fano's pick at 10.
All right. Well, you my decision is easier, but I'm torn between 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 2 players that are the draft needs right here per the PFF mock simulator. If Malino is right here, keep the Miami kid in Miami,
100%.
Protect your new quarterback, Malik Willis. We know they need offensive line help, and the AFC East is tough.
Mm-hmm.
But the AFC East is tough, and you got to be able to score points. There's no Tyreek Hill. You've got Devon Achane, the original Achane there in Miami. You've got Waddle, who hasn't been the perfect model of health over the past couple of years.
Right.
So it's between the tackle and it's between Mekhi Lemon for me right here. Tackle guard. I say tackle guard, but a lot of people think he can kick inside. I'm going to build with the trenches. The fantasy footballer in me, I want to go Mekhi Lemon, give Malik Willis a weapon. The receiver class is deep, and I think taking the lineman here, I'd rather Maui Noah here and whatever receiver I can get in round 2 or beyond, opposed to taking the receiver here and then trying to patchwork it together a little bit later. So we'll go Francis right here. We'll keep the Miami offensive lineman in Miami.
Yeah, I like that a ton. And I know they brought in Jamari Sawyer, but I don't even know if he's really, I always kind of saw him more as a gap guy coming out of Georgia. So with Bobby Slowick, a lot of Shanahan, wide zone stuff, I think Maui Noah there at right guard makes a lot more sense. Yeah. And then Sawyer could just kind of be a depth piece for this team. Also, Jonas Savaiinaea was rough, to say the least, last year. So, like, you might be looking at both those guys potentially being replaced. So, yeah, I like CC. And also, like, 5-star recruit, 3-year starter at Miami. Like, offensive line jerseys don't normally sell. That would be one that gets off the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So then Dallas, man. All right, let me refresh what they've done.
Do my boys right now, TJ. Do my boys. I'm not going to say a word. Do us right.
I'm going to try to make you proud here. I feel like defense is still the move. I like the low cost. A 4th rounder in 27 is still a little rich for me with Tron Gary, but needed a little bit more juice. To me, it's a little surprising they moved on from they sent him to San Francisco. Osa Odigizua.
Osa, yeah.
I felt like you probably move on from Clark, but just because there's $20 million or whatever in cap savings there, but also he's a part of the Micah trade. So I can see from Jerry's standpoint, you move on from Kenny, that kind of looks like an L on your behalf. Feels a little early for me to take linebacker. Prefer to do that at 20. Have they done anything at corner? Still got Deron Bland. They brought in Kobe Durant. Okay. Durant was primarily a nickel in LA, right? I'm not making that up. Hold on, let me try.
You're not making that up. You're not making that up.
So does that signal Deron Bland's going to play more on the outside? If so, okay, interesting. Kalen Carson, you still have Shavon Ravel. Okay. So part of me thinks like you did Shavon Ravel. Why not get the first round version of that player in Jermon McCoy? But at the same time, like, how many guys do you want to have coming off an ACL injury on your like starting quarterback room? I can see where you're like trying to avoid that potential disaster, quote unquote disaster. It could work out well. 3-4. Oh man. Gary and Ezeraku on the outside linebacker spots. Could we get this team a 3-tech? This is where, dude, like low key swing of the bat. Like if Caleb Banks didn't like just re-break his foot, hashtag fun to watch. That could be really something. But I don't know if you have to force that here. Mesidor, more of an outside linebacker. Falk could be a guy that collapses inside to play defensive interior. There's already some talk about that.
Oh, God, TJ. Don't you dare do it. Don't you do it.
It's funny. I feel like every mock, and I wonder if you'll agree with this, every mock that you give a team Ty Simpson or Keldrick Falk, every mock you do, those 2 fan bases are going to hate your guts. Here's what we'll do. I don't remember the last time the Cowboys took a safety, but I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to go Dylan Thieneman. Over the top playmaker. I like Malik Hooker. I like PJ Locke. Jalen Thompson's a good football player. I still think you can have one more guy. And Thieneman, whether it's strong, free safety, split safety looks, we got to see him used in a more diverse set this last year at Oregon. So wherever the role is, and you got to think with Parker coming over as the DC, like they're going to move him around. This could be almost a DeJean type or like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson a couple of years ago where he plays some slot, plays some strong, plays some free safety. And also like PJ Locke, 29 years old, if my memory serves. So you got a couple of those guys who are kind of 1-year stopgap, getting close to that 30-year mark. So I'm going to go Dylan Thieneman for a long-term piece, someone that's going to be the staple of that defensive backfield for the next 5+ years.
Good pick.
Okay, now I got to know, did I pass the test? Did it make a Cowboys fan happy?
Good pick.
Okay,
good pick. That will play. It's just so crazy how much he's risen over the past month. I remember mocking him to Minnesota maybe like 6-8 weeks ago. People hated
100%.
it. No way. And now it's like, you might not be able to get him outside the top 15 now. 100%. So I love it. Dallas has needed a playmaker on that back end for years. Great pick. Love the fit of Dylan Dieterman in Dallas.
If not DT there, what's your preference? Is it McCoy? Is it someone else?
I like Jermon McCoy. I really do. I am just so tired of Dallas drafting players coming off of injuries. From Leighton Vander Esch, you go look at the second round picks that they've drafted. I think 12 is a little rich right now, not knowing how the knee is. He didn't do anything at the combine. He says he's going to do stuff at the pro day. I feel like it's a little rich for right now with what we know for that type of player coming off of that type of injury. So I'm glad it was Thieneman. Yeah,
100%. And I wonder too, like, is there a day two guy, or do you take Peter Woods at 20 as that attacking 3 tech? I still feel like or Grayson Halton. I remember going to the Senior Bowl and I had a good amount of clips that Grayson Halton I was able to showcase what he's bringing to the table. I love Grayson Halton. To me, I like him late second round. But if he's there, y'all got a 3rd round pick now. If I'm very
there's a 3rd round pick now.
If Halton's there, that could be that attacking 3 tech that I'm looking to get y'all. So that might be a mock draft fit for the future here.
Yep.
But anyways, I'll turn it over to you, the Browns here at 13. To me, not to give you an idea of like what I was thinking and not to like make the pick for you. I'm thinking Monroe Freeling.
It's Monroe Freeling. I would have taken him at 6 potentially to fall back to 13. They signed Zion Johnson and Elgin Jenkins, interior offensive linemen. They still need a bookend tackle. I think this would be a home run scenario for the Browns to move back and still get a guy that they probably would have taken inside the top 10.
And I get a lot of the love for Monroe Freeling. If you take him at 6 and you're Cleveland, I get it. Totally. But at the same time, my risk appetite for Monroe Freeling is a lot more appealing here at 13 than 6. And plus, if you throw in an extra 2nd round pick, that gives me a little bit of like, well, if he doesn't work out, then, at least you got the 2nd round pick out of it. And also, like, you slot him in at left tackle. Let's say the DeJuan Jones experiment is kind of over. It would be Freeling at left tackle, Zion Johnson, who I think is a much better fit in Todd Monken's scheme than he was with Greg Roman. Elton Jenkins at center, awesome. Tevin Jenkins back at right guard. He's often injured, but I also like Zach Zinter, Michigan guy, backing him up. And then Titus Howard at right tackle. Boom. In one offseason, that looks like a lot better of a starting 5, at least for the long term in Cleveland. So I like that a lot. And then, dude, I saw this earlier, and this was not my play. I was not going to do this earlier. What do we think about Kenyon Sadiq here, the Ravens? Like, if you want to replace Isaiah,
I haven't seen it. Talk about it.
Right off rip, while you still have Mark Andrews, you can just use Kenyon Sadiq as your Isaiah Likely. But I think Sadiq's a better blocker than Likely. And I think Likely's a fine blocker when you get him on the move. I think Sadiq can do some inline stuff. But we're also at that point where, like, how much longer is the Mark Andrews thing going to be? Like, by the end of Sadiq's rookie contract, I would have to assume Mark Andrews is not playing in the league. Maybe I'm wrong. But I would have to assume he's probably out of the league. So this is kind of like stopgap Isaiah Likely, but like long term, this guy's a weapon. And also, this team is so yards after the catch oriented. They want to win on the ground. His blocking helps make that happen. They want to use 2 tight ends. I'm gonna go Kenyon Sadiq. It's not like super Ravensy, like high position value. And I will say, honorable mention here would be Akeem Mesidor, 3-4 base, win now player, deep pass rush bag. And I know it's not Max Crosby, but him playing off of another technician in Trey Hendrickson could be sick. So I'll probably do Mesidor in some future mocks, but honestly, I kind of thought about it, and I heard Sam Monson talking about it in one of the Check the Mic episodes, and I was like, that's actually kind of a fun fit. So I'm going to go Kenyon Sadiq there at 14. Not very Ravensy, but like one more weapon. And dude, even how Seattle used Elijah Arroyo sometimes at X receiver last year, I wonder if they could just get creative enough and just say, hey, let's go see what this guy could do just full on the outside, not full time, but like let's give this guy a couple opportunities in the red zone maybe against a corner. Let's just see what he can come away with. So I kind of like that fit there in Baltimore.
Yeah, okay. I have not seen it. I mean, they took Hayden Hurst in the 1st round some years back at tight end.
Talking about those 2 players, they took a tight end in the 1st round, so okay, we can check the Kenyon Sadiq box. Yeah. And then Mesidor's 25, and Hurst was 25, so you can check that box. They're comfortable with it. So
there you go. You blend it all together. I like it, though. And you give – everyone knows Lamar needs a weapon, and most of the times people just automatically assume the receiver spot, but you've got Zay Flowers there. This would be – I like this.
It could be a cheeky way to get an X receiver without Carnell Tate being on here. And I'm not saying like full time, right? Like that, but you can get a little creative there with Sadiq. And what I will say also, if it's not Sadiq here at 14, if Eli Stowers there at 45, that also feels like a sick Isaiah Likely, kind of replacement. So you can get a couple different options for tight end. So I'll be interested to see how Ravens fan, they'll say that I'm a Steelers fan tanking their draft, but it comes with the territory.
All right, Tampa Bay. They signed Alexander Zaloni. They brought in Kenneth Gainwell. Cade Otton is back, so I wasn't going to take Kenyon Sadiq there either. This is where I am. This is Todd Bowles' last hurrah. And the NFC South is a winnable division. Like, go get it. Go get it. Go figure it out. I'm between two players. Akeem Mesidor off the edge, and if you scroll back up, Vega Ione. Venga Ione. My boy DP was at the combine, and he said it is not Vega. It is pronounced like Venga with an N. Is the best guard available. I know they had some issues on their interior offensive line last year. Some retirements, some players not there. I'm taking Ione right here. Somebody asked me who my favorite player in the draft is. Not best, but watching somebody play guard that wants to, like, who wants to be a guard? People want to be running back. They want to be tackle. Right. 71 is like, I want to live in the middle and I want to road grade people. I want to play guard. To get somebody like that to protect Baker, to open up rushing lanes for Bucky and Gainwell.
100%.
I want to go edge rusher, but as well as I know, TJ, and the people watching this show, D-line is stacked. I am very confident. Rounds 2, 3, 4, you can find quality rotational players at those positions. You're not going to find another guard like this. Give me Venga right here at 15.
I echo, and we'll see, because it depends on how high you are on Cassius Howell, but like there's been a lot of mocks where Cassius Howell or Mason Thomas are there for me at 45. That's a stand-up outside linebacker. That's a Bulls fit. So like totally second-round options. And damn it, I had a plan in mind where I might go specifically with the Steelers just because Isaac Seumalo leaving. Vega's now become one of those guys. He's the number 14 player on my big board, but now he's like the guy where I'm like, dude, fingers crossed, please become a Steeler. You're such a Steeler. Please, like everything you said, like wants to just blow up the dude across from him. But he's also a brick wall in pass protection. Vega you have to be careful saying this because sometimes offensive line, you get a little stereotypy, but he just feels like one of the safest guys you could bet on in the first round. So I'm with you through and through. And look, the Bucs, they've got some questions to answer about what's going on there. Like Mike Evans clearly not happy with what's going on there, taking an equal contract to go find a different place to go compete. That feels like it says a lot about the setting there in Tampa. But Vega, that's how you make Baker better. You make that run game better. I echo all your thoughts there. And then we get to the Jets here, man. Like hard floor for me probably here with Mekhi Lemon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Mekhi here. To me, Mekhi is in a lot of ways like what you said about Vega. He's not the number one player on my board. I'm not going that crazy with it, but if I've had a bad day and I need someone to pick up my spirits, it's probably Mekhi Lemon highlights that night. It's probably Mekhi boosting my spirits. So, and I think him as a slot, ideally Garrett Wilson is your Z. Maybe it's Adonai Mitchell. Maybe it's someone else we draft in this class to be that X, that big body physical type. All of a sudden, man, like I know it's Geno Smith coming off a rough year, but that's a supporting cast he just didn't have in Vegas, frankly, with Brock Bowers battling with all those injuries, a rookie who couldn't see the field and bash, another rookie who's just kind of at this point one note, and Deontay Thornton. Like, I kind of love that situation around Geno. This could be a hell of a redemption tour for my boy. So I'm going to go with Mekhi Lemon, give him a stud slot receiver for the long term. I would feel a lot better about this with, honestly, Tanner Engstrand still being there with his connection to Detroit. But the only pause here is like, how is Frank Reich going to mess this up? But I'll try to be optimistic here. It's hopium season, so I'll be optimistic about it.
All right. I always struggle with this Lions pick because I listen to the comments, I read them, I listen to the people, and I know there are a lot of needs for the Lions. I see a lot of the offensive line. Absolutely, they can upgrade that. Finding an edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson, absolutely necessary as well. I'm looking at their depth chart right now. They did bring in Cade Mays in the middle. They brought in Larry Boom as a left tackle, so still a need. DJ Reed, Rocky Sen, and then you got Terrion Arnold, Roger McCreary at your corner spots. Branch coming off of his Achilles. Kirby Joseph has got I'm looking at Jermon McCoy right here. Yeah. And I know what this simulator says the needs are. I think this is a spot when I'm thinking about the Lions. I'm thinking about the NFC North. Think about the NFC conference as a whole. You better have people that could shut down receivers. And if McCoy can play to the level of his 2024 tape, I think you, me, and everybody else that let him fall to 17, you'll be like, what was I thinking? Wow. I really took this guy over Jermon McCoy. So right here for the Lions, I'm going to give him Jermon McCoy. We're going secondary. We're going to improve that. You need it. So let's go with the cornerback out of Tennessee.
And I echo all your thoughts. Look, they play Caleb Williams twice a year. They're about to, I assume, Kyler Murray and Justin Jefferson twice a year. Yep. Like that's a Jordan Love, Matthew Golden going into year two. I mean, that's not a or division, let alone the conference. Like that's faint for the heart. And also like their cornerback room, Rakestraw coming off an injury, but also sub 6 foot. DJ Reed, sub 6 foot. Darren Arnold, sub 6 foot. Like I feel like they need a guy who can go play bump and run, press man coverage, be a physical guy, and McCoy brings that and strides. Now, granted, the one thing that with this is like, the guy who hasn't like played football in 500 days, didn't go to the Senior Bowl and compete, didn't do anything at the combine. That's like the one thing where it's like, is Dan Campbell going to do that? But at the same time, you hit the nail on the head. Him and like Jordan Tyson, who we also have fallen here in this mock.
Yep.
If not for injuries, they're 2 top 5 picks. Like, frankly, their tape is just that good to where if you took the injury question out of it, they're great football players. They go a lot higher. But you're drafting these guys for the long term, so injuries are a part of the question. Dude, you know what? I thought about this the other day. I'm not going to do it, but I've been kind of thinking about maybe doing Tyson to the Vikings.
Okay.
It feels like there's a receiver race to see who can get out of the league fastest between Rasheed Rice and like Jordan Addison. So like, frankly, just to have some Addison insurance, and you lost Jalen Naylor in free agency, like Tyson could be interesting, but obviously the injury concerns are still there. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren's a fun player, but honestly, let me just double check their roster just to make sure. I know they brought in James Pierre from from Pittsburgh, so you probably don't have to go Avion Terrell here. But in a lot of ways, man, I do like that as a fit. This is another team where, like, you were kind of talking about offensive line there with the Lions. In a lot of ways, I kind of want Fano to fall to them to be that Frank Ragnow type, kind of like what we did earlier with the Bengals. But also, like, at this point, left tackle is a big need for them. So, but this would be another team where, like, Fano at center would be badass. This would be another team where, like, if Caleb Banks was healthy, God, that would be really fun. You know what? Now, just frankly, let's go look at defensive interior just in general. And I know this class has kind of like lost some love at the top of it, but dude, Caden McDonald could be fun. Jalen Redmond's a really solid run defender, flashes of a pass rusher. Tyron Ingram-Dawkins, versatile guy at the 3-tech. But Levi Drake Rodriguez isn't a bad nose, but Caden could be interesting. Peter Woods, maybe if you're going to buy into a bounce back.
Yep.
But I still look at that corner. I mean, like Isaiah Rodgers is a good player. Byron Murphy's good, but my only hesitation with that is like Brian Flores typically doesn't like playing rookies a whole lot. So, and they did draft Ty. Man, I'm kind of
just tell me why not Tyson in Minnesota. They lost Naylor. Addison has been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's do it. Let's go Jordan Tyson.
Why not?
And the way I look at Jordan Tyson, his number one trait is his ability to win in that 10 to 19 yard range. And specifically, like, I think he's got good top end speed. We'll see if he like decides to run at his pro day or anything like that. But as good as like, I think he's got good top end speed, but his ability to decelerate to me is like top tier trait. And that's part of why his like route running stands out so much. I said the exact same thing about Justin Jefferson. So in so many ways, like I look at how JJ wins and like I look at Tyson and I can just see them being like, hey, worst case scenario, we have 3 badass receivers. Good place to be in Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy world. But long term, this might just be like Tyson plus JJ and like 2 awesome guys that play off.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Jordan Tyson. I'm with, and also like at this point, you're not paying Addison. I just don't see the Vikings being the team to pay him. So it could be Tyson and JJ show as early as next season, really.
I don't hate it. I have not seen it, but this is the point of the exercise. Like, okay, okay.
And frankly, this team might be able to go get like Caleb Banks, who I mentioned there at 18, with his foot injury. You might get him in the second round at this point.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That might be the risk worth taking. So,
all right, I'm on the clock with Carolina, right?
Yep. Have fun. This is a tough team.
Well, yeah, because there are a couple of players off the board that I think would have been good fits. I've loved mocking Kenyon Sadiq to Carolina right here. I think they can absolutely use a tight end. Receiver, yes. I do think receiver could be in play as well. I know they like Coker, not really feeling Leggett, finding some more help from McMillan. But here's the thing that just sticks with me, TJ, and they did a lot defensively. Bringing in Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd at cost were great moves for the Panthers. And then you're talking about Nick Scorton, who was there last year. You get Derek Brown doing his thing. Morig, you've got the J.C. Horn. They lost their left tackle in the playoffs. They lost Ike Ekwonu, their starting left tackle. Patellar. Yeah. The projected timeline is 6 to 12 months, and this was 2 months ago. They don't have a left tackle that I feel comfortable with. They did a great job of solidifying their interior offensive line 2 years ago through free agency. But their first round pick left tackle is not there, and they did not do anything to address it. So pull up the tackles for me.
And I will say Rasheed Walker signed a 1-year deal. So I'm not saying that's
Right.
That's just a ban. And frankly, Rasheed Walker is one of the, like, especially after the Dan Moore experience, I think I'm good. You know, like, I don't know if I really want to be paying $20+ million to a free agent tackle. Odds are teams letting them leave for a reason. Orlando Brown, kind of another example of that. So I don't think I've been going Caleb Lomu here a good bit.
I've been going Lomu. I learned from my man Damian Parson that the Panthers have never selected a player from Clemson, even though they're right there in the Carolinas. They have not taken a Clemson guy, which is, I don't know if that's going to change or not, but I do like Lomu. He played left. People don't know that he played left tackle at Utah. Mm-hmm. He played on the left side. So right here, I'm going to protect our quarterback.
I like it.
Open up running lanes for Chuba and Jonathan Brooks. Allow Bryce some time and let Icky get back to health. If it's an 8-month recovery and he can work his way back, fine, we could shift him around. But we're going to invest in the trenches. Give me Caleb Lomu out of Utah.
And dude, I don't think Lomu gets out of the first round. Like, a lot of the same stuff people love about Monroe Freeland, I think it's still there for Lomu. Like, he's another one of these guys who needs a year or two to develop his body anyway. So worst case scenario here for the Panthers, you let Rasheed Walker play this year. You use that as a red shirt for Lomu. You have a 5th-year option here to kind of back that up when it comes to, like, your team control. And then you add that 5 to 10 muscles onto his frame when he's not having to deal with classes and all the other stuff of being a student athlete. He's just a full-time football player. So I like that a ton. And then here's my other, like, crackpot theory about that. In 2027, Damian Lewis, you can cut him and save $13 million entering his age 30 season. So in a lot of ways, I mean, I could see where Akim Ekwonu is like, hey, I've been a left tackle. I'm going to hit the market. I'm going to go play for a team that wants me to play left tackle. Screw you guys. I can see that. I can also see a world where they're paying Damian Lewis a lot of money anyways. So what if they gave Akim Ekwonu this hybrid guard tackle money? Lewis making $20 million anyways a year. What if they gave Akim Ekwonu that contract, basically, moved him inside to guard? And then you got Lomu at left tackle, Akim Ekwonu, who probably naturally a little bit more of a guard than I'd say a great tackle. And he's been a good tackle, but maybe he's a badass guard, you know? So I feel like that opens the door for that. And then eventually you move on from an offensive lineman and Damian Lewis, who's getting long in the tooth. So I don't know, long-term team building, I think you're on the money there.
All right, so TJ, real quick. Yeah, you said you're a Steelers guy, right?
Yeah, I'm a Steelers guy.
Okay, I'm a Cowboys guy.
You want to switch?
So how about we do this? Can we swap? We don't have to do the trade. Can we just swap picks here?
Let me hear what you're thinking. I was just going to ask, like, in a lot of ways, I love CJ Allen, but I don't know if you love him here at 20. So let me hear your thoughts. I also do wonder, let me get your thoughts on, like, a trade back. I know you got that 3rd-round pick, but I could see y'all being a team that's looking for a quarterback, maybe looking to jump the Steelers for Ty Simpson, maybe. I can see where that's maybe a possibility.
Okay. Would Arizona bite?
I don't know if they're moving up this far. That's as soon as I said that, I was like,
probably not. We'd have to force it, and it would be unrealistic.
But what I will say, what if let me look at
Dallas is always trade. Dallas always likes to trade, man. They're very active on the draft. I mean, who could they move back with? I doubt they're doing another deal.
One of the hottest names in the draft sphere right now. And we just gave the Browns an extra 2nd-round pick. Could we have the Dallas Cowboys move back 4 spots? Let me see what the difference in that is. I don't know if it'll net you a 2nd, but it might net you another 3rd, which we won't get to today. But
right. Yeah, I think Cowboys fans would be fine with that. With the way the board is falling right here, safety's already addressed. Move them back. See if they can move back. Because are you talking about the Browns moving up? Huh?
Yeah. Let me see what it would take for the Browns to move up. It's only a difference of 100 points. So yeah, you're probably talking about Cleveland giving up
a 4th.
Yeah, probably that first 4th they have 82 points, pick 106. So hold on, maybe it's not. It doesn't have to be Cleveland. There's plenty of teams that maybe San Francisco. The Bills don't have a lot of great pick. Maybe the 49ers. Let me see what the 49ers have in regards to, like, extra ammo. If they have an extra pick. Now, granted, I don't know how you feel about Dallas helping out San Francisco.
I know they've already helped them out with damn Osa. They've already helped them out.
True.
With Osa. Who's the best remaining player on the board right now, TJ? Who's up there right now? Who's the best?
Let's look.
Allen, Mesidor, Warren, Falk.
My board, I'd say Terrell, Cooper,
Allen,
maybe Caden. Caden's probably right up there too.
Doctor.
And I would say, dude, this would be a great spot for New England if they didn't just sign on their Dobbs. If Dobbs was out of the equation, I'd be like, New England moves up 11 spots. They have the extra ammo. Denzel Boston's the guy. But now with Dobbs, that kind of complicates that. So if a team's moving up, I feel like it's for Cooper Jr. or Terrell. Maybe it's for CJ, or you could just take CJ here. Anyways, I didn't mean to throw you off of the trade. Let me hear your at least thought process, and then I'll come back at you with
cornerback is a need. I think the secondary overall is a huge need. for Dallas. Linebacker is too, but the interior line is just, the interior linebacking group is just nasty this year. Like I feel very confident that later on in the draft, even round 3, round 4, you'll be able to get a linebacker right here. Avion Terrell and his playmaking ability, he feels like a Dallas Cowboy. You put Terrell and Thieneman in that secondary with Overshown and company at linebacker, with what they've done up front. Right now, Kenny Clark is still there. Rashawn Gary, Quinn Williams, you've got dogs up front. I think this is no digs. I'm not really sure about Revel moving forward. I think Terrell would be a home run. Him and Thieneman, I promise you in the comments, Cowboys fans are going to be like, thank you. We're good.
And again, Brian Parker coming over from Philadelphia, where they've been able to move guys up and down the field, both from safety to the slot, outside to inside. Yeah, like more versatile chess pieces for him, the better. So I'm with you. And honestly, the more I looked at the draft check, there's not a great spot. Ideally, Arizona would be the team where you could like sucker an extra pick out of them. But all the other teams, it's like, do I really want to help the 49ers? Not really. Right. And what I was going to propose like earlier, if Vega made it here at 21, I was going to have Vega be the pick, and then probably have Buffalo trade out at 26, Pittsburgh move up from 52. Buffalo don't have a second round pick now with the DJ Moore trade. So like, could that be a spot where they look to just get more picks, more swings to the bat? Pittsburgh moves up, they take Ty Simpson. So like, I was kind of thinking about that, but ultimately we just didn't make that happen with Vega off at 15. God, I kind of love that for the Bucs. So, this comes out. Every Steelers fan hates when I do this, but I do think Ty Simpson will be the pick.
Is it Simpson? Okay, talk. I want to hear you talk through it.
I think McCarthy can look at him and squint and see a little bit of Dak, right? Like Dak's about an inch taller. He definitely weighs more than Ty, but coach's kid, accurate, willing to attack the middle of the field, can play with good touch. Like there's athletic, especially pre-injury for Dak. Like I think there's enough there where he can kind of squint and be like, oh, there's the guy. And assuming Rodgers is back, I do feel like he's doing his normal Rodgers, will he, won't he? But if this pick was Ty Simpson, I think there would be a heavily incentive for Rodgers to come back. That gives you a little bit of an infrastructure to kind of work up Ty, only 15 college starts. And what I'll say about Ty, and this is the part where I feel like all Steelers fans are kind of missing the plot here and what I'm trying to get at. That Alabama situation was terrible. For an Alabama situation, for a P4 SEC team, like that was not a great, that was the worst Alabama run game I've ever seen. And I'm 28 years old. That's the worst I've ever seen them be able to run the ball. Offensive line play was a little spotty. I think it got better as the year went on, specifically with Proctor, but still a little up and down, and the right tackle was a turnstile. And they have one receiver in Jeremy Bernard who's a little bit more of a complimentary type than like alpha. I'm going to take this game over. So I just wonder, like, you go to Pittsburgh and you got DK Metcalf, you got Michael Pittman Jr., you got a couple of interesting tight ends, you got a couple of interesting backs. You still need to work on the offensive line, you need a guard now, and also an awesome defense. And I just think there's a lot of ways where, like, you look at Pittsburgh's situation and it's better for Ty. That being said, I haven't done this yet, and I think I might go Omar Cooper Jr. instead. So just to type, and also I'm doing this to save myself from Steelers fans because they're going to beat the shit.
Yeah, you pump me up for damn Simpson, and you're going somewhere else.
All right, you know what? Let's do it. Steelers fans hate it, but I do think Ty Simpson will be the pick. We're also hosting the draft, and like not that the Green Bay last year, it's easy to look at that example, but I do think that has some weight. Right, the Green Bay owner comes out for the first time in 20 years. We're drafting a receiver. Oh shit, the roof goes off the place. We're hosting the draft. We got Rodgers back. We got our franchise quarterback of the future. And look, if you hate Ty at 21, I need the receipts. You must have hated Kenny Pickett at 20 because I don't know how you can hate. Because to me, and I mean, granted, it's all draft evaluation. It's all subjective. Pickett was my QB4 in a weaker quarterback class. So if we took him at 20, 50-something picks before the next guy off the board, I'm okay with Ty here at 21. So infrastructure, sit him for a year, and then set him up in year 2 with a quarterback, quote-unquote whisperer and McCarthy, good receivers around him. I think this is as good a spot that Ty could possibly have.
I've got a fun one right here at 22. I've got a fun one here at 22 because it's been Wenger. Everybody's putting Wenger there. You need the offensive lineman, but they went out and spent some money. Biotish, love him. Cole Strange, they got him. Pipkins. I'm not saying these are all pro caliber players, but
raise the floor
and make sure that the ship won't fall off the rails if something happens injury wise. I absolutely think another offensive lineman could be in play. But TJ, I don't know if you're old enough to remember this movie called The Mighty Ducks, D2.
Yeah, of course.
The Mighty Ducks, okay? Yeah. Remember the Bash Brothers? Remember the Bash Brothers? You just had those guys just wrecking shop on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren paired up with Derwin James in that secondary. I mean, my God. Dude, pray 20%. For receivers going across the middle. tone setter. Have not seen him paired to the Chargers often. I thought receiver. I thought about O-line. Could have gone Mesidor. Give me Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I think he's a first-round caliber player. 3 safeties in the first round. You put him with this Harbaugh. I love this fit. And let him and Derwin James be the Bash brothers of the AFC West.
I'm with you through and through. And it's also a defense that utilizes 3 safeties all the time. And Elijah Molden, if my memory holds, he's only got 1 more year left on his deal. Also coming off a year where 52 PFF grade, not that that's the end all be all, but RJ Mickens was a nice hit for a 3rd rounder. So if you're telling me a safety tandem, and specifically with Derwin in the slot, Derwin's in the nickel, RJ Mickens plus Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, yes. For how versatile and crazy that defense can get, sign me up. I'm with it all day. Then we get to the Eagles, dude. This is actually a team I'm pretty excited to do this for because I haven't done it since their free agency spring. And I know they brought in a corner. I got to remember who it was. Reek Woolen on a 1-year deal. I think that's a great scheme fit for that Brian Flores defense.
Yeah.
Arnold Ebiketie, a little extra insurance there. Also, Jonathan Jones. Like, don't let that go under the radar. It's good, solid depth. So I got Dallas Goedert. They got Dickerson back. Got Lane for 1 more year.
I couldn't let McNeil-Warren fall to damn Philly. I know they lost Blankenship.
Right.
I wasn't letting that happen. We were not letting that happen.
And they got Makuba. They got Sidney Brown. They could still probably add 1 more guy there. This is a tough one. You obviously have a couple linebackers leave, but you drafted Jahad Campbell last year to be a year ahead of it. Could this team still go edge? I wonder. Jalux Hunt, Ebiketie, Nolan Smith. I think this team still might go edge. The question it would be, is it Akeem Mesidor? Or is it someone else? Let me look at the 3 techs in here too. Could this be the team that figures out Falk, gets the best usage out of them? Maybe. In a lot of ways, I kind of feel like Mesidor makes sense.
He does to me. He does to me. And we care about his age. Philly's in win now mode.
The other thing would be like, are we projecting AJ Brown trade? Because if we are, one, that's probably an extra 1st round pick. I would assume they're probably getting a
probably.
Yeah, for that. So if that's the case, could we just go get Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr.?
Good.
Like Denzel Boston to replace AJ Brown would be pretty sick. But I don't know if he's better than Omar Cooper Jr. So I don't know if I'm going to jump the shark just yet. I feel like Eagles fans are going to hate this, but I'm going to go with Akeem Mesidor. Like a team that wants to win right now. And also Jeremiah Washburn is like one of the best edge coaches in the NFL. And granted, Akeem Mesidor just worked with Jason Taylor, so I don't know how much more like the coaching side of this is going to play. But a guy that, who could be bigger and also like not the biggest and heaviest guy, but he would routinely move inside of the tackle and play kind of the 4-eye spot for Philadelphia. So I wonder if there's some versatility on where you line him up, and that allows you to keep Jalix Hunt in the mix and Arnold Ebiketie as an extra rusher off the edge. So I wonder if his versatility where you can line him up kind of frees them up to be able to get all those guys rotated in. So I'm going to go Akeem Mesidor, and also that's definitely the first time I've done that. That's got to be the first time I've done Mesidor to Philly. So playing with some scenarios here. Let's do that.
Yeah. Again, impact guy from day one. He should be able to come in and rush the passer. We're up with the Browns, and we are rushing to the board. We turned in the card. We're going wide receiver, Omar Cooper Jr. 100%. Let's get our quarterback. Like the steam is there. I think the Browns this is just a hell of a draft for them to be able to trade back and still get a Freeling. You didn't take I love Tate, but you didn't go receiver there.
Right.
I love it. So let's go with Omar Cooper Jr. right here.
Apologies for the delays getting that up.
You're good.
Die right in the middle of that. So
you're good. This is
there we go.
Would love this fit in Cleveland with whomever's playing quarterback.
And from what I've heard, they really like Cedric Tillman. Even this new coaching staff, they like Cedric Tillman a lot. It's just about keeping him on the field. But this is the spot where, like, if he can stay healthy, which it's always an if, but if he stays healthy, like taking Jerry Jeudy snaps away and giving them to Omar Cooper Jr., I can't applaud you enough, sir. Like, you're doing not only the Browns a service, you're doing the NFL a service. Thank you, sir. Chicago Bears, man. One of my favorite fits in the draft is Caden McDonald to this team, and I think I'm going to have to do that here. CJ Allen is fun too. Let me see what their linebacker situation is right now. I know it seems like TJ Edwards might be gone. I kind of feel like that might be a mistake. TJ Edwards is a good football player, but he's getting up there in age. You bring in Devin Bush. So this really comes down to, like, are you going to keep TJ Edwards around? And if you don't, CJ Allen's pretty awesome. Or do you go Caden McDonald? They bring in Neville Gallimore. He's fine. He's okay. So we got Grady Jarrett. They pick again at 57. What T tackles would probably 57 and 60. Oh, because they have 60 now from the Bills.
Yeah, from the Bills. Yep.
Is there a chance Yeah, like Big Citrus at 70 could just give us a lot of the same value there. So in some ways, CJ Allen makes more sense. But 57, what linebackers do we think we get? Jake Golday? I can see where Golday's there at 57. Or Trotter. I'm also a big Trotter guy.
Yeah, Trotter.
I'm a big Trotter guy. I'm going to go Caden McDonald here. Yeah, I'm going to go. And Caden's not even my D tackle 2. My D tackle 2 at the moment is Lee Hunter, but he's got buried down, didn't have great jumps at the combine. It's all good. I still love the football player. But Caden McDonald is like, yeah, like Andrew Billings, younger, cheaper, more explosive, frankly. And they have an infrastructure to where like they could just let him be an early down run defender. And then maybe by year 3, let's see where that pass rush plan is there in Chicago. So I like Caden McDonald there.
Thank goodness, because you made my pick a lot easier at 26. It's CJ Allen. They need a linebacker. It's CJ Allen. It's CJ Allen. It's CJ Allen to Buffalo at 26.
Jim Leonard coming over. Like that feels like they're Drew Greenlaw. They're Alex Singleton. Like this guy is going to be no nonsense, no BS. You're not running the ball up the middle. I love it. And frankly, like if they went CJ Allen and they could find a way to get a nose tackle, because they don't really have that DJ Jones type guy in Denver, like that's how you improve the spine of that defense. So I'm not a Bills fan, but Josh Allen's my favorite player in the league. So I do root for them on the side. 49ers, interesting team. Look, Casey Concepcion on paper is about as Shanahan as it freaking gets. Like play action crosser routes, this guy's going to be untouched. Satellite player, this guy's going to be a weapon. But I do wonder if it's time to go ahead and start getting the Trent Williams succession plan in order.
100%.
I think I'm going to go Kane Proctor, play him at left guard. There's just no world where they let Trent Williams leave, right? Like I've been making the argument in the last few mocks. He's right behind Christian McCaffrey, and maybe even more than Christian McCaffrey. I think he's the most valuable piece to that team. We've seen them win without Ayuk. We've seen them win without Brock Purdy. We've seldomly seen win without CMC. So that might be the one guy that I give the bump to. But even last year, multiple double-digit wins without Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. Not something I would have thought. So I feel like.
Do you think he's the best, TJ? Is he the best tackle prospect left that were on the board? Because who's left? Blake Miller.
Yeah, and see, but like Blake Miller, right tackle, Iheanacho, right tackle, and then we get like I'm not a big Jennings Dunker guy.
Yeah,
Tierney, I'm fine with middle of day 2 if somebody really wants him. Cage Casey's interesting. If you didn't do Proctor here at 27, I think his arm length came in a little bit longer than I thought. I could see a world where Cage Casey's kind of your third round version of Proctor. Play him at left guard for a little bit. Eventually, he moves over to play tackle potentially. Bowery's an interesting guy, but again, like third to fourth round kind of guy for me. So I'm gonna go Kane Proctor. He'll be a badass at left guard. And then hopefully 2, if you're a 49ers fan from now, that's when we'll have Trent Williams pass the torch over to Caden Proctor. And that should buy him some time where like the foot speed still got to get better. He misses high and wide with his hands too often. But like you're talking about this guy at 352 pounds who like moving the way he does is special. So I'll go with the upside play there. And hopefully this team gets their Trent Williams successor in Proctor.
All right, Houston. They did sign Braden Smith. They gave him a decent little chunk of money, $20 million, $10 million a year, 13 guaranteed to play right tackle guard.
Yeah, and word is to play guard. That's apparently been the word. He's going to play left guard, which is where he played at Auburn.
That's where he played at Auburn, right? So I still think offensive line is, of course, they need to upgrade that. But I'm also looking at the D-line, and the strength of this Houston team is the defense, no doubt about it. And you've got 2 of the best bookend edge rushers in the league, just as a tandem with Hunter and Will Anderson. Sneaky play for me for Defensive Player of the Year here in 2026, Will Anderson.
I like it.
How do we make their lives a little bit better? How do we make their lives a little bit easier? That's adding a big boy in the middle. And they need somebody on the interior. And there are 4 players that I freaking love. I can go Lee Hunter, keep the Texas kid in Texas. I can go Christian Miller. I can go Peter Woods. I can go Caleb Banks. Here's why I'm going to go Caleb Banks. Is because I think he's a little bit better at getting after the quarterback. I know he's 6'3", but he wants to get after the quarterback, right? So let's make life hell on those opposing offensive guards. You put Banks in the middle with those 2 guys on the edge and all the other stuff they have. I would love to fit. Caleb Banks to Houston.
I'm with you. And I also think at 38, their next pick, you can still get one of those right tackles.
Yes.
This is a spot where Iheanacho or Blake Miller's there.
Yes.
And if Braden Smith's going to play guard, I think we can move on from the Blake Fisher experiment. I think that right tackle spot.
Yep.
So you can do it here or you can do it later, but I'm with you.
We're going to try to do it later.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's totally fair. But dude, giving this team, like you said, Miller, Woods, Hunter, Banks, it's like, and frankly, like I've been the guy this whole draft cycle. It's like, I'll let someone else have Caleb Banks. I'm cool on it. But like Houston's the one spot where you're like, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Like I am all in on this. D'Amico Ryan's working with that type of potential. Oh yeah, could be fun. And frankly, he would have been a sick Kansas City Chief too. Like let him run next to freaking Chris Jones.
Chris Jones,
like,
yeah,
that would be gnarly. So we went David Bailey at 9. Could this be a corner spot? Again, they don't normally do the corner thing early. So that's my one hesitation there. Maybe a right tackle. You got Jalen Moore 1 more year. Denzel Boston's kind of the big body X that they haven't had. Shit, I think this might have to be the move here. I don't know if I want to overthink this. Hood's very much a Spags corner, but they typically do, like Noah Williams last year, 3rd round pick out of Cal. Like they typically do that 3rd, 4th round. Dude, let me just double check. They haven't added a receiver that I'm like forgetting about, right? No, Tyquan Thornton, Xavier, and then Rasheed. Yeah, I'm gonna go Denzel Boston. This is like if you could, and I'm not saying he's like Mike Evans, but like if you could add that type of player, you know, like 80% of Mike Evans, and just plop him into Kansas City, I think everyone would be pretty excited about that. And then pending this Rasheed Rice thing, he looks a whole lot better than with a true X receiver on the outside. Rasheed in the slot, Worthy as a Z, sign me up for that. And also like Worthy's field stretching speed is something that Boston, I think he has build-up speed, but he's still not like a natural burner in the 40. So I think that they all kind of complement each other really well. So I'm going to go with Denzel Boston there. X receiver of the future in KC.
A fun fit. I haven't. They need an X receiver, no doubt about it. I haven't seen the pairing much, but I like the fit, especially how things have played out for the Chiefs. And now you got me on the clock with Denver, and I am going with the position that people want the Broncos. Let me say this: Broncos fans hate every time I mock because it's like, another linebacker. Okay, another line. We're not going to do anything. Yeah, you keep giving us linebacker. Well, they did bring back, what was it, Singleton? And I'm not saying Singleton should stop you from upgrading the position, but it will stop me from taking a linebacker here.
Sure. Yeah.
People thought
Singleton and Strenard. So they brought back the 2 guys who played a majority of last year.
People thought Sean Payton was crazy last year for making the move to get RJ Harvey in round 2. Oh my God, RJ Harvey, round 2 player.
Right.
Go to tight end.
Oh my God, he's doing it. He's a madman.
Press draft.
Oh
Eli
my
Stowers
gosh.
to Denver at 30. Broncos are just like, F it, man. We got to get somebody that can stretch the field at this position. It's a very, very talented tight end. Maybe it's a little early, but you know what? If you're Denver and you're like, I'm getting my 3rd-year quarterback, a tight end that can move, a tight end that can be dynamic after the catch, a tight end that can play in tandem and complement with an Evan Ingram, with the Cortland Sutton, with the Troy Franklin, with the other pieces. Give me Eli Stowers to Denver right here at 30.
I think you're nail on the head. I was on someone else's pod last week. We did the same thing, and we brought up the same point. RJ Harvey was kind of a consensus 3rd-round pick. Sean Payton says, that's my guy. Pat Bryant was kind of looked at as a consensus day 3 guy, probably early day 3, but like 4th-round guy.
Yep.
Sean Payton says, that's my dude. I'm taking him in the 3rd round.
Bo Nix, hell, TJ.
Bo Nix at 12, 100%.
Bo Nix.
So, dude, like Adam Troutman doesn't do much in the way of pass game, but he can play inline tight end. So they already have the infrastructure. And frankly, Eli Stowers is as close to, you see these comps every so often of like, who's the next Taysom Hill? Stowers is lighter than Hill, but like former quarterback turned tight end, freaky athlete. That's the other thing is too, like people don't remember how good of an athlete Hill was when he came out of BYU. Ran a 4.40 at like 238 pounds. Like man's was bananas from an RES standpoint. So Stowers, I think you're hitting the nail on the head here. This is just like Sean Payton saying, that's my dude. And also CJ Allen off the board. So like kind of had our hands tied there. You could probably get a linebacker a little bit later. This would be a team that's like, if they could get this team, Jacob Rodriguez in the 2nd round, like chef's kiss, that would be
hell yeah,
perfect fit. Let's go Patriots here. This is the single hardest team for me to freaking draft for. And part of it is like they did such a good job in free agency for the most part last year addressing their needs. Same thing this year, not only with Romeo Doubs, because I wanted this team to get Denzel Boston, get that X receiver type. I'm cool with it being Dobbs. And then they needed a guard. Jared Wilson's a true center coming out of Georgia. So I never really understood the left guard of it all. And then they go get Elijah Vera Tucker, who not only has been a badass left guard, but he's played some good tackle as well. So like got some injury insurance there. I'm thinking about Blake Miller or Ihanator here. Ihanator, 60% of Arizona's snaps last year were in a gap scheme. And I think Ihanator still needs to add a little bit of muscle, but we're talking about a guy who's been playing football as an organized sport for 4 years. So he's 25, but I think we can get that body there. And then I'm kind of looking at like edge, you could still use a dude. Draymond Jones is a solid football player. Harold Landry's pretty good, but like if you got this team, let me see, they're like low key, this team taking Cassius Howell just to be their 3rd pass rusher. could be kind of awesome. They bring in Kevin Byard to go with Craig Woodson. Dude, frankly, I think I'm going to go with one of those tackles. I know we were talking about it with Arizona and potentially Houston, but man, I think to get a Morgan Moses replacement, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I've also heard this team might trade Christian Barmore, so I'm also thinking about that. What do you think here? Edge or right tackle? What Pierre Woods too? Is it if this team traded Christian Barmore, could they be the team that locks in Pierre Woods? And think about Mike Vrabel, the Jeffrey Simmons of it all.
I'll say this: the lasting image I saw of New England, where were they getting decimated? Right up the gut, right up the middle, right? Yeah. The interior pressure just wrecked everything they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Milton Williams, I think. I'll say this: Falk, Parker, Howell, interior. If I'm going to bet Woods that somebody will pull the best out of them, it's Vrabel and that defensive identity and culture.
Look at Woods.
I think they would be fine in New England.
And again, they drafted Barmore, I think, early second round, and he's had blood clots condition. So I could see a team, maybe like Kansas City, team that's they're willing to take that risk, take a little bit of a bite out of the apple, like a late third round pick, maybe even fourth round pick. We'll see. It might just be, maybe it's a fourth and a seventh or something like that. We'll see. But I have heard Barmore is expendable, and I could see a team that's a contender looking to kind of get a buy low option there. And then in turn, like Peter Woods to replace Christian Barmore would be phenomenal. So, but also I think they can play in tandem with each other, frankly. So like that's kind of a fun fit. And I think you're right on the money there. Like Vrabel working with a guy like that, especially what happened with Jeffrey Simmons, his was injury related, but a guy who fell down the board, came out of the gates motivated beyond all hell. Like, I think Vrabel could get the best out of Woods. That's a good spot. I like that. All right. Now to leave it here with the Seahawks. I typically go corner here.
So do I.
I will say, dude, Keldrick, I was doing a little side-by-side of Keldrick Falk and Tank Lawrence. Dude, like measurables, like there's some similarities there. And I wonder, like going into the last year of Tank Lawrence's contract, could you just draft his replacement a year early?
I think right here, you're looking between Falk, you're looking at Colton Hood. I think you're looking at TJ Parker. They all fit. They all fit.
You know who else would be fun if he made it here? To be a Kobe Bryant replacement? Avion Terrell. I kind of wish Terrell could have made it here. Damn it.
Let me tell you one of my. We're not going to do it today. Let's lock in the pick. Let's go Keldrick Falk here.
I like Falk as a Tank
for Seattle.
Year ahead pick. And you can go corner later.
Yeah, I've put Keontae Scott here. I am higher than consensus on Keontae Scott. I think he's got some of that Witherspoon playmaking ability, like just probably a round two guy, day two guy, but I think he would fit that sort of playmaker mold. I know they brought back Josh Jobe, but they still need another defensive back. But I like Falk right there at the back of the first.
And it's similar line of thinking, and maybe I'd lean this way just because like they could use an outside corner. I don't know if Scott will ever be that, but like D'Angelo Pons from Indiana, two dudes who want the smoke, and they want as much as you can humanly provide them. Like those guys are, and like nobody told D'Angelo Pons he's 5'8" and 182. Yeah. Like that guy plays like he's Keontae Scott size. They're 6'2", 200. So I like both those guys. But Pons might be able to be the guy who can play some outside too. But I like where your head's at. Those would be two Mike McDonald ass kicking types. I love it a ton. But now I'll give it to you, the Jets, dude. We've given them Arvell Reese and Mekhi Lemon, two top 7 players on my board. So we could end the draft here. I think you've already rebuilt the Jets, but I will give you pick 33.
33. Oh, hold on. I got the dog barking real quick, TJ. Hold on.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry, the cleaners are here right now, and the dog's going crazy. But
I'm just glad it wasn't mine, dude. My golden doodle, like he'll just have random barking.
This is a Bichon. This is a purebred killer down here, right? All 11 pounds of them. But the Jets, what do we go? Mekhi Lemon and Arvell Reese?
Yeah, man. Hell of a start.
Man. No quarterback. They're not going to do that. They lost Elijah Vera Tucker. He's gone.
Mm-hmm. They did bring in Dylan Parham.
They did.
Looked like a decent offset there.
I think for the Jets, let's go Colton Hood right here at the top of the second round. Let's go Colton Hood. They lost Sauce. You're not going to place him 1-for-1, but let's bring in another cornerback to help this defense out. And when Aaron Glenn is inevitably let go, at least you'll have players that the next coach can kind of work around. Let's go Colton Hood.
And it's going to be interesting to see how the Nashawn Wright experiment goes. That was a guy that I was really worried was going to get, and nothing against the player. I hope, honestly, he's like an all-pro the next 5 years. Like I'm never betting against the players. But he was a guy just coming off 5 picks, 2 forced fumbles. I was like, this guy's going to get a bag. And it's kind of off 1 year. But he didn't. 1 year, $5.5 million. So, one, like the Nashawn Wright experience might regress to the mean here. You might need Hood to play right away, but also it's a 1-year deal. And if Nashawn Wright does what he did last year again, that 1 year, 5.5 is going to become, multi-year and double-digit millions of dollars. So I like this a ton. And also, like, he's such an Aaron Glenn guy. So even if Glenn stays, like, man press for days, that's Colton Hood through and through. All right, home run scenario here for the Arizona Cardinals. I'll go Blake Miller, just because I do think scheme fit wise, like I think Matt LaFleur is going to be a little bit more like Mike and stick to the wide zone stuff versus like McVay with the gap. But if I'm wrong, then you easily just slot in Hannah Shore because I do think he's got a little bit more of the experience from what Arizona State ran versus Clemson, pretty zone based. So, but I'll go Blake Miller there. Bookend tackles. They finally let Jonah Williams walk. It was a decision that had to be made. So I like that as their tackles of the future. Plus Ruben Bain at 3. I mean, building in the trenches. That is how Mike LaFleur is going to see some success in Arizona.
So Bain at 3 and then Miller at 34 opposed to Maui Noah at 3. And we're
Cassius
looking
Howell, TJ
Cassius
Parker.
Howell, TJ Parker, which we're probably going to do right here.
Yeah.
Because the Tennessee Titans in this mock, they did go Jeremiyah Love. Now you got to go defense.
Casey Concepcion.
Well, I thought about Casey.
Okay.
I thought about Casey, but I'm still hanging my hat on this. Brian Daboll is going to utilize the shit out of Wan'Dale Robinson. I think it is going to be a lot of Wan'Dale Robinson, and we'll see what Tennessee can do a little bit later. Right here, I am going to go defense. I'm going to get Salah somebody defensively. I think at this point, round 2, Cassius Howell, TJ Parker. Can you scroll down a little bit? We got Zion Young, Jacobs, not yet. Lawrence, not yet. I'm not there. Let's go Cassius Howell right here. Edge rusher, linebacker. Salah, figure it out, get the most out of him. Maybe a situational guy to start, but can he develop into a little bit more? We'll see. I like Cassius Howell here in round 2. Some people think he can go round 1.
Yeah, and I think this is a solid fit through and through, to be completely honest with you, because like John Franklin Myers is that he's typically had this one big body end who can always collapse inside. So that's going to be JFM. And then you have Jermaine Johnson on the other side, who's like your routine starter. So frankly, for Cassius Howell and like what his skill set is and like what he brings to the table right away, and that's not long arms. And this is a spot where you let him be a DPR and you have the infrastructure to collapse other guys inside, get him on the field. He'll have meaningful snaps. He won't be a full-time starter, but the snaps he plays will be high quality. And he'll be pretty productive too, frankly, working with Jeffrey Simmons, John Franklin Myers, Strange. Like he's going to see some one-on-ones, and the dude is going to win one-on-one. So I like that fit a lot. And that's and like, this is the guy who drafted Will McDonald at 15. Like this is, he likes these isolated pass rush types.
Yeah.
Raiders, dude. Let me I know they brought back Eric Stokes. Let me see we used all our safeties. This is one where like, dude, if you could cross your fingers and get Thieneman or Emmanuel McNeil Warren here at 34 or 36, you're like screaming to the gods, please make it happen. But all in all, like, I still think they need a safety. It's a good safety class. I don't think you need to take one here at 36 though. Someone to partner with Chin, that would be good. The secondary looks better. Stokes, bringing Teron Johnson, Darian Porter going into year 2. So much better at linebacker. Quay and Nakobe, specifically Nakobe in that mix.
Yes.
Quiddy Pay plus Max Crosby back for right now. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Also, like, Ray, I got to get your thoughts. I know you probably talked about it on your show, but man, I don't say this just as a Steelers fan, but just from the outside looking in, looks a little shady. Looks like some shady business went down. You didn't like the trade you make. You decide I'm going to takes these backsies. We didn't put that in the legal writing. So I'm going to pull it back, and then I'm just going to go keep my first round pick signed.
No comment.
Yeah. Like it's
no comment.
On the outside, that's kind of what it looks like. But that being said, Quiddy Pay plus right now, Max Crosby, that's kind of an awesome 1-2 punch. As good of a 1-2 punch this team's had in a while. Let me look at the receivers. I really like going third round Elijah Surratt for this team, but there is probably a higher ceiling to be had. Besh to me is not an X, and that's where like I'd love to go KC. This would be like an old Al Davis pick, like speed, like go get me a speed guy. But they need an X, and I think I'm not going to do Bradsell ahead of those other guys.
No,
you could do Bell, but I mean that's a fast dude. That's an athletic dude who could play X, but I just don't know if we're fully there. Really, this is kind of tough. You know what? Nose tackle. Let me get this team a nose tackle. That's what it is. This team has a Christian Wilkins-sized hole in it, and this is kind of tough because on one hand, I'm a Lee Hunter guy through and through. But on the other hand, like Christian Miller is a really fun developmental project. Not necessarily a project, but like could year 3 of Christian Miller be better than Lee Hunter? I could see that. I could see that being a possibility. Year 1, I think Hunter's better, but it just comes down to like what's your timeline here for the Raiders? I think you got time to wait. So I'm going to go with the upside play. I'm going to go with Christian Miller. A guy who could be a nose when they go base, could be an attacking 3-tech when they go into a true nickel set. I'm going to go with Christian Miller to kind of be that Christian Wilkins that never was.
Okay. Well, Sonny Styles went 5th overall. We are going to attack the offensive side of the ball. We are going to get Jackson Dart some help. We are going wide receiver, KC Concepcion. They lost Wan'Dale Robinson. Right now, the timeline for Malik Neighbors is still a little iffy. We don't know if he's going to be quite ready for week 1. I know they brought in Darnell Mooney, sure, but you still have Slayton, but that contract's off the books after this year. Right. And then it's like Bo Collins and a bunch of guys after that. Yep. I do think that Concepcion and his playmaking ability, he will be their team's returner right off the rip.
Yep.
And when Neighbors is back, that's a nice 1-2 combination along with Theo Johnson and Isaiah Likely for your young quarterback, Casey Concepcion of the Giants.
And look, with Matt Nagy there's going to be RPOs for days in that offense. So, like, getting the ball out quick and getting the ball in the hands of Neighbors and then Casey Concepcion off of that sounds like a recipe for success, if you ask me. And I think you hit the nail on the head. No more Wan'Dale. You bring in Mooney as like oh, shit, we didn't expect Casey Concepcion to be here in the second round. We could play a game tomorrow with Mooney, but in this situation, Casey definitely presents a higher ceiling and a multi-year contract. Same thing with Calvin Austin. And I think then what this team would do is probably with their, third, or I think they might have a couple of fourth round picks. You double it up and you'll get a possession type where maybe Surratt falls a little bit, or Ted Hurst or Malachi Fields, DeJon Stribling. You go find that X receiver who can be that boundary type a little bit later on in the class. But then in the meantime, Neighbors at the Z, Concepcion at the slot, or vice versa. Those are two badass dudes you just want to get the football to as early and often as humanly possible. So absolutely in love with it. And then tailor-made here, I'll be quick. We got Caleb Banks. We were talking about right tackles, the other spot. Maxi Iheanacho, developmental guy. They could try to give Blake Fisher a little bit more time or another veteran in that spot in the meantime. But Iheanacho, physical streak, really liked his bounce back at the Senior Bowl. Rough day 1, looked a whole lot better day 2 and 3. So I like buying in this guy, soccer background too. You kind of see it in his footwork, get a little bit more play strength to this guy. And I think you could have your right tackle of the future there in Houston.
You kind of sniped me there because I was thinking about you kind of sniped me because I was going to double up with the Browns.
I don't hate it
there at tackle.
You could go Pregnon. They did re-sign Howard long term, and I think that's at tackle.
So that's what I was looking at. Pregnon. They got Titus Howard, Tevin Jenkins.
And Jenkins missed a lot of time, so you still could go Pregnon.
Zion, I love Zion Johnson, DeJuan Jones. I still think offensive line. I was gonna say corner.
Pawns or your boy Scott here. That physicality with the way they play, man. Like that could be fun. I'm not
Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, D'Angelo Ross. There's not a lot behind. Nickel is Miles Harden. That was 28 tackles, 4 passes defended. Go to the corners. Go to the corners.
Yeah, I got you.
Go to cornerback for me.
Braden Stooks is fun too.
All right, go back to guard. I think it's going to be Pregnon because I think just this late too.
Yeah, too. Yeah. Good.
I mean, I don't know if he gets out of day 1 when we get down to it. So let's go Pregnon right here. Let's go guard. Let's just load up. We're doing it the right way. We click trenches. Got to defend against Max and TJ and everybody else. Let's go trenches for Cleveland.
I like it. And too, like we said, Tevin Jenkins, good football player when he's out there, but he's missed so much time. Zion Johnson's like an interesting. I mean, they give him a lot of money. I do think he's a lot better scheme fit, but you're still talking about a guy who's been a bit of an iffy first round pick to this point in his career.
And I said Max, excuse me, Trey, because Max is not in the AFC North. He's back in the AFC West. Sorry.
There we go. And then Pregnon's also a great scheme fit for Todd Monken. So
Monken, yeah.
Love it on all accounts there. Now we get to the Chiefs. Okay, so we've gone receiver and
what a draft. What a draft.
That I'm feeling really good about that if I'm a Chiefs fan. So now I'm wondering, could we get this team? What do we want to do here? We could try to find. We've exhausted the tackle options. I don't hate Lee Hunter just to give this team a little bit more of an interior presence. But do we need to double up, go 2 picks on the D line in the first 3?
What about corner?
They got Kairos Tonga too. Yeah, do we want to make this our corner spot? I think Cissay's plenty competitive. Like, I think he's physical enough. People want to point to he had 5 missed tackles this last season where he had 1 the year before that, and they kind of point to that as like, oh, he can't tackle. And it's like he put his nose in it plenty, and sometimes corner it's variable. Yes. I would also point to Mansour Delane had 4 missed tackles this last year. Keith Abney had 5 missed tackles. Like, 4 to 5 in a college season is nothing egregious. So I'm with you. And then, dude, like looking at their corners right now, I like Noah Williams, Christian Fulton. I liked him a lot coming to LSU, but at this point, he's been more of a depth piece.
Yeah, he's depth.
Or do we go with a nickel player? I could see where they opt for the nickel. They use Shamari Connor there some too. Jaden Hicks, Aloe Gilman. I'll go with Brandon Cisse. Great coverage player. unafraid to go get a receiver at the line of scrimmage. Very much a Spags guy, just a little bit earlier than they normally take him. But that being said, Cisse, Noah Williams, I feel okay as much as you can after losing Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson. I feel pretty good about that if you're KC.
What do we do for Cincy? We want Fano there at 10.
This could be a good Lee Hunter spot.
Who do they have in there? I don't know who they have.
Here, let me pull.
Interior D-line right now. Let me look up the Bengals.
I know BJ Hill's been fighting on every year of his career potentially. Jonathan Allen will sign in free agency. Chris Jenkins.
Jonathan Allen. BJ. Yeah, you got to upgrade. Miles Mert. Man. Yeah, they need, man. Well, yeah, where's our interior D-line at? Let's go. Let's look at that. I love Lee Hunter. It's probably going to be Lee.
Yeah.
Let's go Lee Hunter.
Definitely.
Let's go Lee Hunter here. They need this.
And I thought Chris Jenkins could have been that second round guy to boost up that run defense, but ultimately, the 295, it held up at Michigan, but at this point in the league, he gets blown off the ball.
Yeah.
So I think Lee Hunter, 330, at the Senior Bowl, that guy had a one-man mission of just simply not being blocked the entire week. Like, it was awesome. Let me get to the Saints. He would have been a good fit too, Lee Hunter for the Saints. Mansour to Lane at 8. I kind of love that. And we talked about getting a big body X receiver. So yeah, and dude, Chris Bell, the guy that Tyler Shuck was throwing passes to at Louisville when Chris Bell broke onto the scene.
What a pick.
Done.
What a freaking pick, dude. You sniped me. Damn it, TJ.
He would have been a great Miami Dolphin. He would have been great. But could I interest you in Chris Brazzell or
yes,
Ted
you
Hurst?
can. Load it up. Chris Brazzell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
I wanted to go receiver in the first round. I talked about Mekhi Lemon. I opted for the guard. Who did I take? The guard? Did I go guard for Miami in round 1? What did I take?
Noah.
I went Mount Noah. Yep. I love it. Let's go Brazzell right there.
And then, dude, you move because I love Waddle, but he's not an X. He's a Z. No. And then Malik Washington, who I love coming out of Virginia, he's a slot. So you needed that X Brazzell.
Love it. It's a good fit
component, and also his ability to sink his hips. He's got way more change of direction skills than any of the other Tennessee receivers that kind of come to mind when you think of this archetype. So I almost do wonder if like Bobby Slowick, their OC, might look at him and be like, "Hey, there's like some Nico Collins there. Like, don't just look at him as the big, tall, fast guy. Like, he's got some wiggle. He's got some hip, flexion in there." So I wonder if that could be a guy he's high on, or Ted Hurst, frankly. Then we get to the Jets, dude. Arvell Reese, Colton Hood, Mekhi Lemon. I mean, you're eating good if you're the Jets at that point. We're kind of thinking of Reese as an edge, so I'm not really. I mean, we still could go edge, dude. Like, I'm not mad about it whatsoever. I'm gonna pull up their depth chart real quick because right now it's Harrison Phillips at one edge spot, Will McDonald at the other, Joseph Osai. So yeah, we're switching to a 3-4. Okay. Juwan Breaks played pretty good last year. I'm not too worried about that. Safety, Mika coming in. Okay. Dylan Parham, Josh Myers. Maybe interior offensive line's the place to look at. Tippmann / Myers. Which one of those guys could fail you? Let me take a quick look at interior offensive line. Basantis is a good scheme fit. Is it Basantis here? It might be Basantis. Best player available, though.
Right?
We could also get this team Josiah Trotter. Since we're calling Arvell Reese an edge rusher, Josiah Trotter learning from Demario Davis.
Okay.
God, as much as I love Trotter, like if there's a guy who could teach him how to like move in space and play coverage, I feel like it's Demario Davis. Back where it all began, Josiah Trotter. And also just like Trotter and Arvell Reese, let's just say there's a set where they're both playing linebacker in a year or two from now or post Demario Davis world. The sheer physicality that Reese and Trotter bring to the table is just something that the Jets just don't have on that roster right now. So like tone setting, physical guys, I kind of like it a ton there just to be like Aaron Glenn fits. So I'm going to go Trotter there at 44. That's honestly, at this point, it feels like his hype's kind of cooled down a little bit. It's probably
I don't hate this at all. I like it.
So we went Kenyon Sadiq with the Ravens. Now I leave you to do the real work here at 45 after I had fun at 14.
Well, thank goodness you left me Chase Basantis because that's going to be the pick. I don't know if you've looked at this Ravens depth chart on the offensive side, but there's some work that needs to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And Daniel Falele was not good last year. It's Andrew Voorhees at the left right now, John Simpson at the right, Corey Bullock at center. You lost Linderbaum. You got to find bodies. I don't care how good the defense is. If Lamar can't stay upright, if you can't open up the lanes, you gotta protect the trenches. So let's go Chase Basantis.
Yeah, home run there. You plug him in at left guard next to Ronnie Stanley. You're figuring out the center spot, and then John Simpson you just brought back, and then Roger Roser guarding the right tackle. That's as good as that offensive line's looked in the last like 3 to 5 years. Buccaneers. Well, this is kind of a home run. Obviously, this team needs edge. Like, I need oxygen. So TJ Parker or Zion Young, they're kind of a 3-4 fit. So, frankly, I'm going to do something a little off the beaten path. I like these two guys, and I like them higher than this guy. Juice. Malachi Lawrence, all day, first step juice, bend, still has long arms, not quite the 35 inches that it was kind of rumored to be preseason, but like, man, still has pterodactyl wings for arms for the most part. So that's, and I know they've kind of struck out on this type with like Yaya Diaby before, but like, I think you're willing to take a shot on that. And I also think, Zion Young, I kind of prefer hand in the dirt. TJ Parker, same thing. So stand-up rusher, I'm going to go with Malachi Lawrence there.
All right. The Colts. This is the first pick, right? This is the Colts.
First pick for the Colts.
Forrest Buckner, Latia Latu, Grover Stewart, JTT. Okay, they did lose Kwity Paye, right? Was he more Arden Key? Looks like their D line is okay.
Yeah.
Forrest Ward, Cam Bynum, Wanya Thomas.
Really, I'm kind of looking at
more.
Linebacker. We're looking rough. Do you want your first pick to be a linebacker, though? It's not always sexy.
I don't. I don't want the first pick to be a linebacker. Kenny Moore's there, so I want Pons, but I'm looking at the fit. You got Kenny Moore there already.
Could you go Jeremy Bernard? Is he like the complementary type between Downs and Pierce?
Now I'm going to the offensive side. So I'm looking, it's Pierce, it's Downs, it's Doolin. Like that. Yeah. It can't go to receiver.
Yeah, Doolin's definitely a guy that you love as your 4. But like him
not as your 3.
Like 2 and 3, you're like,
not as your scroll down a little bit. You got Bernard, Lance, Tony, Surratt, Branch. They go back up to the top. I think it's Jeremy Bernard. He does. I think he complements what Alec Pierce does. He's not going to be your downfield guy. He's not going to be your beyond the 20s kind of guy. But if he can work that short intermediate area to kind of replace some of what Michael Pittman Jr. Do people look at Michael Pittman and think he's this big? Like, he worked great short and intermediate. So maybe Jeremy Bernard could do a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a like-for-like replacement, but without having to pay him $23 million or whatever when you're already paying Alec Pierce. So, no, I think, and I've comped Bernard to that 2-year window for Juju Smith-Schuster when he was playing off of AB.
Okay.
And AB's just like lighting the world on fire. And then Juju just did every little thing you could have asked for him. He was a good run blocker, soft spot against zones, enough man coverage, ability to beat it. And I think that's kind of Jeremy Bernard. If you have a superstar receiver, this guy is going to be a home run number 2. So if you see Pierce that way, and I'm also a huge Josh Downs guy, I'm really ready for him to take the ceiling off that offense. So Jeremy Bernard, I think that's the perfect compliment guy. I like that fit a lot. And frankly, I would have thought about him for the Falcons too, but they also need speed, to be completely honest with you. They don't have like an X because like London's a power slot. So this is where I'm going to have my boy Ted Hurst come off the board. Also, they just hired the Georgia State wide receiver coach. So feels like a nice, easy connection there. I'll go with Ted Hurst, play him on the line of scrimmage, field stretcher that you don't have with Darnell Mooney being gone. And frankly, you need that guy to take the top off the defense to open up the underneath intermediate stuff that Kyle Pitts, Drake London, that's where those guys are working. So Hurst is the missing link to me.
Vikings. We went Jordan Tyson, right?
Jordan Tyson, yeah. Dude, I forgot. I love it.
We splurged a little bit at the NFL draft store. Got us some Jordan Tyson.
Let's go.
They're trying to move Grenard, right?
It sounds like it, and frankly, it sounds like it's going to be the Eagles. From everything I'm hearing, it sounds like he's an Eagle in the making. But I think they did that just because they want Dallas Turner to play. So that's where it's like, do they already have that guy?
That's what I mean. So it's tough to go there. I'm going cornerback. I'm going cornerback for the Vikings. I like Chris Johnson out of San Diego State.
I think he's more.
I really listen. AJ Holsey's my guy. That is my guy is AJ Holsey. But I'm not going to do it right here. I'm going to go Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. Let's get a cornerback in from Minnesota. But Chris Johnson's my guy. I mean, AJ Holsey's one of my guys.
Holsey's the guy that, like, if they don't get a Harrison replacement and they feel like they need to have that guy, like, Holsey's the dude. Like, that guy hits so hard.
Absolutely.
But like Chris Johnson's the guy I look at. James Pierce, a 2-year deal. Rogers last year of his deal. Byron Murphy, I believe, on an expiring deal too. So like, who's the guy in 5 years from now who's like your number one corner? I think Chris Johnson, especially in off-zone coverage, he is going to, like, in a Flores defense, he is going to bait so many picks. Like, Chris Johnson, if he 1 year leads the league in pick sixes, I won't be surprised in the lightest, specifically if he goes to Minnesota. Lions to Jermon McCoy. That is the definition of badass. I kind of love that. Humps the tackle. So I'm thinking about that left tackle spot. There's not really a guy here I'd take, to be completely honest with you.
Rough.
Like, maybe Jude in the third, but we're not worrying about the third round today. This is also a team where, like, if Trent Williams is on the move, they're probably like, yo, what does it take? Like, literally blank check. Here you go.
Yeah.
The Lions. Who's that number 2 edge rusher? Is it Al-Qadim Muhammad still? Did they sign anybody else? Oh, did he move on?
Is he still there? I think he's still there. I still think he's there. Let's see.
Okay.
Lions.
Aiden Hutchinson. Oh, man. Maybe not. The only other guy. He's gone. Okay.
He's gone.
Zion Young. And I like TJ Parker. And I thought TJ Parker had a good Senior Bowl, but I'm Dan Campbell type. If you missed it, I can't remember what. Hold on. Let me just pull up Zion Young halftime or overtime speech. If you haven't seen this clip.
It's from Zion Young?
Yes. Of the Auburn game. Look up Zion Young overtime Auburn. And if you haven't seen that clip, it is gold. That is a Dan Campbell type. That dude will pump up that room, bring energy for days. Zion Young. That is a Detroit Lion through and through.
All right. Carolina, 51. What did I do for Carolina in round 1? What did we do?
Caleb Lomu. We got him that left tackle of the future and also, like, let him have the time to shape his body the way he needs to. I like that a lot.
I'm going back to the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
I just want a dog. I want an absolute dog.
Let me hear it. I think I know who you're going with here.
Yeah, D'Angelo Pons. I want D'Angelo Pons in Carolina. Him, J.C. Horn, Devin Lloyd. More like let's continue to add to that secondary and get a versatile chess piece that can play outside. That can do. I'm not calling him Tyrann Mathieu, but he's got some of that dog in him. That Matthew dog in him, where he could do a lot of versatile things. Let's go D'Angelo Pons from Indiana to Carolina.
I adore the fit. And also, like, Cho Smith-Wade, day 3 guy coming out of Washington State. I think Pons is just like the top 50 version of that player. So, like, I'm with you through and through. And, like, dude, him and Devin Lloyd, you already have Derek Brown. Like, that team's tenacity against the run. Just,
oh my gosh,
right there. Packers.
Packers.
This would have been a good Chris Johnson spot. What outside corners do we still have here? Abney's a good one. I think he could live outside. He's a little bit small, but I think zone heavy defense, you can make it work. Defensive interior is the other spot, especially since they moved Colby Wood. And I'm a huge Grayson Holton guy, but that's the type they've been kind of striking out on, and specifically in run defense. I keep it in the top of the screen there. Apologies for that. Let me see. Oh, they moved on from Rashawn Gary. Is it TJ Parker here? Is it just draft a good football player at 52?
I think Packers fans would be pretty happy with Parker here. They've lost a lot. And Micah probably not ready to start the season with the ACL.
Right. And then even if you Lucas Van Ness has become a better football player, but he's an inside out guy. So like nothing about TJ Parker keeps Van Ness off the field.
Yeah.
And then after him, it's Barron Sorrell, 6th round pick, and then Brenton Cox from Florida. I think this, and also TJ Parker is a good football player. Like,
he's a good football
player. He may not
player.
have the top 10 like upside that he once was seen as, but like you're getting a guy who's a quality football player, makes an impact day 1 at 52. How do you not get excited about that?
TJ, I'm giving you back-to-backs. I'm giving you your Pittsburgh Steelers here. I'm giving you Pittsburgh here.
Okay. I won't lie to you. This has typically been Keontae Scott for me. Let me just double check our roster real quick, because we did bring in Jaquan Brisker. We still have Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
And like Ramsey, ideally, I think is the nickel, and then it's Deshaun Elliott, Brisker, Darnell Savage. Who, like, Savage has been up and down, but like that's a safety trio I can kind of live with. I kind of think this team can get better at linebacker. I've just never been a big Patrick Queen guy. A lot of money there.
Yeah.
Oh, but we also haven't gone guard yet. And right now, Spencer Anderson is slotted to take snaps, and that is nightmare fuel. So let me see. Oh, Keelan, it's a little early for Keelan Rutledge to me. Jalen Farmer, like, we're just a smidge early for both those guys. Scrouth, again, like
these feel like day 3 guys, don't they? Don't a lot of these linemen feel more?
I'd take Farmer 3rd round. I'd take Rutledge late 2nd, 3rd, and I'd be happy taking Scrouth 3rd round. He's just got the injury risk attached to him. But here at 53 is where it's like, I don't know if I want to do that here.
Yeah.
At the same time, a need's a need. I also don't want to force this year. And frankly, if we did, hold on, what receivers are still here? Hold on, let's not. Frankly, even as much as like the new coaching staff's coming in, I'm not entirely sure that the Roman Wilson thing's ever going to work.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a few guys here. And dude, I think Antonio Williams has gotten lost in this process.
Okay.
Very much a Josh Downs type to me. And like if you have Pittman and Metcalf on the outside, Williams is a natural slot.
Okay.
Brings special teams value as well.
Yep.
But I also freaking love Skylar Bell. Like, Skylar Bell is #fun to watch. Slot snaps. He's played a little bit in the slot in his career. I'm going to go Skylar Bell. Just force feed this guy some volume. I'm going to go Skylar Bell. Huge hands, was way better in the broad and the vert than I thought he would be. So a little bit more explosiveness than even I kind of saw. And I'm also a sucker. Like, the reason I love Tank Dell coming out of Houston. Yeah, small school guys, but guys who get peppered the football. Tank Dell had back-to-back years north of 100 catches, and Skylar Bell coming off a year with 100-plus catches. I just like guys who have had volume. I feel like that goes a long way to developing these guys. So I think Skylar Bell could just be like the Roman Wilson that's actually ready to play day one, which I also said that about Roman Wilson. So that just – the enigma that is the Steelers and Roman Wilson and Caleb Johnson drafting these third-round picks that feel like safe floors picks but don't work out. I don't know what's going on, but I digress. I'll give you the Eagles here just so I don't double pick. I'll give you the Eagles here at 54 because also I feel like this is a fan base I strike out with a good bit. We went Mesidor at 23.
I'm about to strike out with them too because here I just Makuba's injury was pretty rough, right? I believe.
Oh, that's right. And that was that in the playoffs? Am I making that up?
It was late.
It was if it wasn't in the playoffs, it was like
it was late when it happened because it was on a run. I remember it was a play downfield.
Week 12 against Dallas. Yeah.
It was late in the season. I'm looking at Halsey and I'm looking at Scott. They lost Reed Blankenship.
Dude, I think Halsey, this might be your spot for him.
Yeah, we could do it. I like both. I love both of those players. Losing Blankenship, not having Makuba. I don't know if Sidney Brown, you want him out there full-time as a full-time starter. Yeah. So let's get A.J. Halsey in the building for Philly.
And I loved Sidney Brown coming out of Illinois. I liked both Brown brothers. But at this point, hasn't really netted the returns just yet. Chargers, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. That is such a fun fit. I would just love to see the chaos that could ensue with that player like that. Honestly, like I feel like they've raised the floor of that offensive line a good bit. Be honest, Cole Strange isn't great, but like you can live with him.
He's at right guard.
Him and Ben Cleveland, they're both replaceable, but like at the end of the day, this team was like signing who was it off the street last year and flipping them to the other side. Tackle, not Larry Borum, he got hurt too. Whoever, oh god, it's gonna kill me now. But like,
is it Bobby Hart?
Yes, they're bringing Bobby Hart off the streets and making him play left tackle for the first time in 6 years. Yeah, I think they can live. All of a sudden, Cole Strange doesn't look so bad. You're like, oh, okay, he's okay. So I'm kind of looking at edge. Thule, Khalil Mack backed up by Bud Dupree and Kyle Kennard. It's a little uninspiring. And I also think they could use a guy who could rotate inside and play some 3-tech. So this is a pick I make a ton. Whoops, wrong guy. I do think Grayson Holton would be an ass kicker for this team too. I'm a big Grayson Holton guy if that wasn't abundantly clear. I'm going to go Gabe Akis. Gabe Akis, a guy who can play edge and move inside to play the 3-tech. We kind of showcased that at the Senior Bowl, the ability to win from inside the tackle alignment. That's that tweener body type. And also Thule's a little bit of a tweener too. So you could have just gone straight up edge, maybe an R. Mason Thomas, but I also really like Gabe Akis. Really good run defender. Feels like a Harbaugh type. Big 10 type for sure.
Jacob Rodriguez is the pick here. They lost Devin Lloyd. You got to replace him. This just feels like a good fit for Jacksonville with Jacob Rodriguez at 56.
And Rodriguez would have been a home run pick for the Bears, but the other guy we kind of theorized being available here was Jay Golday. We went Ian McDonald earlier. Here's your absolute. Yep, Jay Golday.
And he's there. You talk through it, and he's absolutely there.
Helps when you're the guys doing the mock. I will say that you can sometimes you can kind of be a little preferential to the ballot. But that being said, what do we think here for the 49ers? I feel like Zachariah Branch. I'm not the world's biggest Branch guy, but I feel like he's a Shanahan type.
He's a Shanahan type. I was going to ask you how would the fan base feel if they took another Lance? It's not Trey Lance, but Bryce Lance this time. I mean, I don't think the steam is fully caught up yet. I'm not sure, but man, the playmaking ability, the size, you've got Mike Evans in the building now. Ricky Pearsall, we'll see how much he can play. It does feel like Zachariah Branch would be a Shanahan kind of guy.
Totally. Antonio Williams too, like punt returner, yards after the catch guy. To me, the guys, just to give you an idea of like where I've typically gone here. Like Kamari, to me, I could see a world where Raheem Morris looks at him as like, that's my Jesse Bates. And this team at safety, barring they signed somebody I don't know about, that's not the case. They could look at him as like, that's the free safety we don't have. Or dude, Dejon Stribling is so much of a Jawan Jennings type. And frankly, for this team, he'd probably just play in the slot, be a power slot with Mike Evans on the outside, Ricky Pearsall also on the outside. So like Stribling and Ramsey are like the two guys I tend to go with here. But that being said, your world.
I'm going to go Antonio Williams. At one point, people had him as a top-ranked receiver in this class. I think he can still do a lot of the things that Shanahan wants to do, quick game.
100%.
I think Niners fans, damn, another injured kind of guy. I get it. I hear you. but I do think adding another receiver to this offense is probably paramount for them.
I'm with you 100%. This is Jacob counting, but with like top 50 talent. And I mean, I say that my wide receiver rankings are coming out later this week. Not to give away too much here, but let's just say he's somewhere in the top 12. Like I'm still a big Antonio, and all those guys in the top 12 have first or second round grade for me. So I'm big on Antonio Williams. Yards after the catch ability too. Like that's Shanahan through and through. And frankly, I think he's just a better, safer player than Zachariah Branch. And that's
100%. 100%.
Dude, the Texans. Let me double check that interior offensive line. I kind of like Connor Lew here. I think you could go center. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, Jake Andrews, pretty sure he's up and over 30. Let me just triple check that. He's only 26, but he has battled some injuries. Wow, he feels like an old soul. They re-signed Ed Ingram. Jared Patterson's not a great guard, but we drafted E. Hennichor. Braden Smith can play guard. That's right. Dude, part of me, I know you don't have to do it, and you still could go center. So, like, that being said, I think there's good enough center options. So, like, Texans fans, take solace in this. You could take Connor Lew or Sam Hecht here, and that would be good. Lew, to me, is a better fit because he's a little bit more of the gap scheme fit. Hecht is a little bit more zone exclusive to me. But if you didn't go Lew here, I still think there's center options for you later on. Yager Burton could work. Or one of the tackle converts to center, a Trey Zune from Texas A&M could be a guy that you get later on. And all that to say, I just don't know if this guy gets out of the second round anymore. I'm going to go Mike Washington Jr.
Okay.
David Montgomery's, again, a great football player, and you could ride out the last 2 years of that contract, but you could also cut him after this upcoming season and save like $7 million against the cap. And if you're telling me, even just for a year, Monty's teaching Mike Washington 223, running a 4.33, paired with Woody Marks, who's got great outside vision, receiving ability, I think that's a great 1-2 punch, Washington plus Marks for the long term. So I'm all in. And plus, frankly, if you have all three of them for the next 2 years, with what we saw from CJ Stroud down the stretch, might be a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it at all, man. I don't hate it at all.
Dude, first time I've had a mock with the Bears get an extra second round pick, so I turn the floor to you. What do you want to do here? Caden McDonald and Jake Golda. This is like home run scenario here for the Bears.
Bears are doing great. Now, they did sign Kobe Bryant in free agency, 3 years, $40 million, but they lost both their safeties, right? Brisker, gone, and Kevin Byard, gone. Both of those players out of the building. I am looking at I'm actually looking at Wheatley. They hit a home run out of Penn State last time with Brisker. I am a USC fan, TJ. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
I love Kamari Ramsey. His tackling leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, there's some lazy technique against the run. Wheatley's coming downhill, and he's coming down to punish you. I like Genesis Smith a lot. I think Wheatley fits the Chicago defense, so I'm going Zeke Wheatley here.
I'm with you through and through. I'm also like, I feel like I'm left on an island. I love Zakee Wheatley. I love all the Penn State safeties, it seems like, but like Zakee Wheatley is a tractor beam to the football.
Yeah.
Wherever the football is, he is teleporting that way. And like you said, like Kobe Bryant, that's a free safety. So he'd be a little redundant with Genesis and a little redundant with what I think Kamari's best at. Especially like 2 years ago, Kamari at USC playing more free safety. So Wheatley's that tractor beam to the football, box safety, can maybe even play some nickel. I love that fit. I don't think second round's crazy. I think he's a good football player. Really. Extra second round pick for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh my gosh.
I dead ass think we could stop here. We've drafted 3 starters. Wow. Like, dude, this is a master class in a lot of ways. Part of me kind of wants to go quarterback just for some fun, but
right.
Frankly, I think it's fine. Whatever happens with Shadur, you're set up either way to be okay. Cool, we're picking high, and we have an extra first round pick next year. Or oh my God, the guy we drafted in the 5th round is our franchise quarterback, and we have a cheat code contract wise the next 2 years, and now Watson's off the cap. So I won't force that here. This is actually kind of fun. Having an additional pick here for Cleveland. And dude, I might go receiver again.
Okay.
Isaiah Bond. I don't hate Isaiah Bond as your slot, but him, Malachi Corley, you could do better there. So
yes.
Part of me kind of you know what? Do we get him that slot corner? Is Keontae Scott still on the board? I don't think we put
you dirty dog.
Him
you
or
dirty, filthy dog.
I'm going to go Keontae Scott. Oh my God. That type of force bringer, energy, hammer meets nail type of slot player. Dude, my favorite, this is like my anecdote for Ruben Bain and Keontae Scott. You know how bad these dudes are? There's so many times where Miami will run an overload front, and just in case somebody doesn't know what that is, like basically 3 of your 4 defensive linemen are on center over to that side of the line. And the one guy who was isolated on his own side was Ruben Bain, and then next to him was the nickel corner, Keontae Scott. They wanted you to run to that side because, hey, you got a numbers advantage, but those two are badasses against the run. So I'm going to go Keontae Scott. That's the enforcer Cleveland needs in the nickel. I love that. That would have been a good fit for a couple of these next teams. You were thinking
linebacker.
Seattle at 64. I know you were.
Yeah, go linebacker here for Denver. Let me see who's available. We took Eli Stowers in round 1.
All day. Dude,
hey, I don't know. I understand that the season didn't play out as well as we liked for Anthony Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down here in Texas. He's one of the more underrated people that folks aren't talking about how great his athletic measurables were at the combine. Damn near 40-inch vertical jump, low 4.5s at the combine. At one point in time, he was projected to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Give me love this. Anthony Hill to Denver right here at 62.
And, you know, it's not often I use this, but, like, you have slashing guards and basketball guys who are just great at attacking the cup. Like, Anthony Hill is like a slashing linebacker to me. And that's, like, typically Vance Joseph's type, right? Like, Dre Greenlaw, who was pretty good in coverage, but, like, that guy against the run and as a blitzer, a menace. And I think Anthony Hill Jr. is that through and through. So totally a Vance Joseph type. Pats. Oh, dude, Peter Woods feels like a home run fit. And at this point, you're kind of playing with house money. Could they use a linebacker? That's an interesting need there from PFF. Who are their linebackers right now? Spillane's pretty good. They brought in Christian Ellis. Yeah, I feel like Ellis plus Spillane. I think they're good. I mean, I'm kind of interested in whoever takes Kyle Lewis just because, like, turn and run, 6'4", 220. What do you do with that? And frankly, it's probably the nickel. Like, to be completely honest with you, probably playing the slot. What do we want to do here? They bring in Romeo Doubs. They get the guard. Let me see what tight ends are available. You could draft a tight end in the future. I don't know if you have to do it here, though. Claire's fine. 3-10. Could we get this team a little bit of edge rush help? Maybe a little bit of extra reinforcements there. Could go. Just because Carlton Davis has missed time, I don't hate corner either. I might come back to that. Or Mason Thomas, Derek Moore. Like, if you just want some more juice, you lose Caleb on Chase on. Like, all 4 of these guys are kind of interesting from that standpoint.
Rotational players, though, for sure.
Yeah. And specifically, like, R. Mason.
Yeah.
Behind as like a stand-up rusher on the outside. They also had Braden Swinson, and I kind of liked him out of LSU. Granted, he had his like off-the-field stuff that was a little precarious. What was that other position group I just said? Oh, corner. Carlton Davis has missed a lot of time in his career. And then after Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis, it's Marcellus Dial, Charles Wood, Brennan Crossley, hand up. I can't say I don't know who that is. And Kobe Minor, which one of the better names I've heard in the league. I got to give that man some credits. Dude, so Trayton Stokes is like fun, and I kind of wish we could get him the second round, but Keith Abney is a top 50 player for me, so like I got to get Keith Abney off the board. And then inside out flexibility, former rollerblade national champion. I love the story of Keith Abney. Let's go there. Cornerback.
There we go. England. There we go. Right here with Seattle.
Round us out.
World champs. I know they just signed Emmanuel Wilson to a small deal. I didn't know that before the show, but I looked. I was like, oh, they brought Emmanuel Wilson in. But I think right here, with Walker out of the building, with Charbonnet's knee injury, I think Jadarian Price would be the play right here at 64. So give me J.D. Price, Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame right there to Seattle at the back of the second.
I didn't even think about that when we were doing that, but that's the guy they should be targeting. That is like, dude, pairing him up with Charbonnet, it's kind of shades of the like what the Rams got with 2 guys who are damn near identical to one another. Like I love that fit. Love that through and through. But dude, Ray, that is 64 picks. That's 2 rounds. I'm going to scroll through all these picks so everyone can see them. One more time, guys, let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you want to shoot us a DM to give us your thoughts there, both of our Twitter @ are right above or right below our given box. So let us hear your thoughts. I'm curious, not only who went too high, who went too low, but who's your squad? Those to me are always the best conversation. Who's your squad? And what do you think of the haul that your team got? That's to me the conversations I want to have.
It's a good mock, TJ. This is a good mock. This is a fun mock.
And then when you get through it, there's typically a guy that, like, once you get through 64 picks, you're like, that guy should have gone in the second round. And for me, that's kind of Trayton Stooks. But, like, to be honest, like, if he became a third-round guy, would jock me. So, honestly, I think we did good with, like, these are the 64 names. Like, these feel like the first 64 names that should come off the board. So, love it, love it, love it. Well, Ray, dude, I cannot thank you enough for coming to join the show. Finally back to the top. Okay, cool. Now let's get back on the 2-shot. Here we go. My StreamYard game got to step up. But, Ray, really appreciate you taking out some time joining us here on a mock draft Monday. Where can the people find you and your work?
Get at your boy at RayGQ on X. That's QUE. Shout out to my frat brothers out there. YouTube channel, RayGQ. Fantasy football on DDFFB. I got stuff dropping with Matt Harmon this week on Yahoo. Do stuff all over Bleacher Report. Just get at me there, man. Appreciate you having me on your platform, TJ. Great host. Great draft, Mind. Thank you for having me on, man.
Dude, the pleasure is all mine. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, want to see more of Ray's work, I think it's given you a great opportunity, and it showcased everything that Ray is bringing to the table. Also, just a great morning show too. I was literally listening to it this morning with my fiance, and that's when I was telling her Ray's like the coolest guy. Everything he does is just like so chill and casual. I wish I could be that way. So, Ray, thank you again for joining the show. 2-round mock draft. We'll have plenty more of these, so definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel here. Definitely go check out all of Ray's great content. That is going to do it for us. Thanks for checking out the updated mock draft. Until next time, we are signing off.